How terrifying would a schizophrenic patient be when they transmigrate to the martial arts world? It begins with the image of the grandfather lying motionless on the ground. NHI stands silently, unable to utter a word. In his mind, painful thoughts echo. He's dead. His body was torn in two. That's how he died. Yet I couldn't cry. I didn't even feel sad. He was your only family. But facing this loss, all you feel is an icy emptiness. Jang Ni's gaze is fixed ahead. The house of the two grandpa and grandson is now engulfed in flames, the inferno devouring everything. His hand clenches tightly. Why am I so useless? Memories flood back, like a knife slicing deep into his mind. Back then, Zhang, NHI, ran over excitedly, his eyes shining with pride. Grandpa, look! A spirit herb. Grandpa, who was sifting medicine, looked up. His eyes are gentle and kind. You're back, Zhang NHI? Zhang NHI nodded, his voice enthusiastic. I searched the east, like you said, and finally found it. Gazing at the lush herb in his grandson's hand, he nodded slightly. Oh, that's a big one. We can sell it for at least 5 incense sticks. Jenger continued. There's a fox den nearby, but their mom wasn't there. Only the little cubs were home. The story inadvertently made the old man slightly worried. So sadly, did you kill them? He widened his eyes in surprise. Why would I do that? If their mom came back and saw all her babies killed, she'd surely be heartbroken. The old man paused for a moment, then smiled gently. Your heart is kind. You did well. Put away your things. Then we'll eat. Yes, Grandpa. Jinger happily grabbed the basket and started to go. But as he turned away, his voice deepened, carrying a troubled tone. Zenger, can you promise me something? Zenger stopped and turned back. What is it, Grandpa? He sighed softly, his smile gentle, yet his eyes held a distant longing. The true nature that you're hiding, never reveal it to anyone. But now, amidst the wreckage of the present, it's you, NHI, laughing, a twisted, insane smile, eyes bloodshot like a wild beast. I'm sorry, Grandfather. His voice trailed off. Then he suddenly swept his gaze forward, sharp and cold. His hand gripped the sickle lying nearby, knuckles bone white. He muttered in a hoarse voice, I couldn't keep my promise after all. In Zhongyang County, a creaky wooden cart rumbled along a dusty road. Inside, a group of bandits and criminals were bound tightly, heads bowed in silence. Outside, villagers gathered in droves, their shouts and curses echoing. Just look at 'em, petty thieves, cowardly bandits. Just die, you beasts. Suddenly, someone noticed something strange. Hey, everyone, who's that guy? Why does he get a whole compartment to himself? This made a martial arts master sipping his drink pay close attention. That small, thin figure was chained up, sitting listlessly inside. Seeing that, the martial artist took a gulp and said, He's so small. Probably around the young master's age. Hearing that, someone immediately explained, Don't underestimate him just because he's young. He's the worst of that bunch. That's probably why he got an entire compartment to himself. That person sat down, ordered more drinks, and began to recount the story. Since you're from the martial world, you're probably not scared. However, you'll be surprised if I tell you how many people he's killed with that scythe of his. They call him the Scythe Devil. Martial artist replied, So just a simple murderer then. The other person hastily said, Hey, don't say it like that. Then asked, So what do you want this time? That martial arts master gently picked up his glass and said, I need to hire someone. A young nobody whose death no one will care about. Having said that, the martial artist looked down towards the prisoner. At that moment, a rock was thrown by the crowd, hitting the prisoner in the head, and they shouted, Consider this punishment light. The guards started barging in, trying to stop anything bad from happening. The warrior scrutinized the young prisoner's face, amidst the relentless jeers. Looking closer, the warrior was stunned to discover the prisoner's unparalleled beauty. Glancing back, the warrior mused, He's so pretty he could be mistaken for a woman. Killing people with such a beautiful face? Seeing that he'd found the right person, the warrior put on his coat and hat. He indifferently bid farewell to the other person, ignoring the yelling due to being tricked. The warrior quietly left like a swordsman who had completed his mission, blending into the bustling, noisy crowd. Only one thought remained in his head. Find that young prisoner. He is the perfect choice for my plan. Nighttime in Zhongyang County's inner city at the Jinyu Hall. Guards stood watch around the detention area. Inside the dark prison, Zheng Ni sat leaning against the wall. His head hung low. His eyes stared into the distance. My mind is drowning in bleak thoughts. That scoundrel. The memories flood back. When it was Zheng Nhi who sought out the one who murdered his grandfather. The killer's mocking laughter. Quite the impression. I wondered who was tailing me, yet it's just a nameless brat. He gripped Zheng Ni's neck, lifting him clean off the ground. His eyes stared, filled with murderous intent. Zheng N.H. I could only struggle in hopelessness, unable to resist. Desperate thoughts echoed in his mind. Finally found the one who killed Grandpa. But he's unlike the others. He defeated me before I could even twitch a finger. Even if I had a rematch, I still wouldn't be able to defeat him. I can't think of any way to kill him. He tried to use force to make him release his grip. Suddenly recalling the killer's words, Zheng Nhi realized something crucial. Martial arts, he pondered. If I learned martial arts, could I defeat him? I'll never get a second chance. Suddenly, from under Zheng Ni's feet, a cloud of smoke appeared, surrounding him. He wondered in surprise. Can smoke even burn? Zheng N.H. I realized this wasn't ordinary smoke from a fire, but a mixture of various herbs. He muttered, identifying each scent. Lizard's tail, purple radish, valerian root, ling yuan grass, and sleeping fragrance. Just as Zheng Nhi grasped the smoke's true nature, the surrounding guards began to collapse. He too inhaled the poisonous aroma, his eyelids growing heavy in a daze. Zheng Nhi heard the cell door open. A figure entered. Zheng Nhi recognized him as the martial artist from before. The man stood still, surveying the surroundings. Then he began using his martial arts to shatter the shackles that held him. As he started cleaning up the scene, a noise startled the martial artist. Zheng N.H. I was only pretending to be asleep, luring the mastermind into the open. The martial artist exclaimed in shock, You're still awake? Before he could finish his sentence, Zheng Nhi unleashed a kick straight into his gut. He quickly escaped, leaving the pained martial artist behind. As Zheng Nhi ran, he calculated. I don't know what's going on, however. This is my chance. Because of my sloppy mixing of fragrances earlier, I managed to avoid falling asleep just now. While I was running with enthusiasm, you suddenly couldn't move. Someone from behind has struck your vital points. The martial artist behind explains, I've sealed your acupoints already. You can't move anymore, kid. Zheng Nhi suddenly turns around, thinking, when did he catch up to me? This is martial arts. The martial artist quickly strikes Zheng Nhi, sending him flying back to slam into the wall. Zheng Nhi looks up angrily. A martial master? He's the one who killed Grandpa. It's not the same. These two look alike. But the other guy has a scar by his left eye. It's guard cam, it's him. The martial artist and Zheng Nhi are surprised to see someone else appear. The martial artist asks in confusion, Young master? I told you to wait outside. The person turns away, looking mysterious, then slowly replies, I've never set foot in a prison before. Ever. I want to go see, but it's not as interesting as I thought. This place stinks. Is that him? Help him up so I can see his face, and bring me a chair. The martial artist replied, Yes, young master. Zheng N.H. I could only lie there and witness it. The martial artist grabbed his head and pulled him up. The other person laughed. Ha ha! You're right, he looks exactly like me. Slowly lifting the cloth, Zheng Nhi looked utterly astonished at what was hidden beneath. Mu Jingyun looked at it with amusement. For someone who looks like me to appear in this situation, it truly is destiny, haha. Seems you're no less surprised. Zheng Nhi was stunned, witnessing this unbelievable sight. Mu Jingyun sat down, then continued. I heard you're in prison waiting to die, and in 2 days you'll be torn apart by horses. Zheng Nhi replied, Yes. Mu Jingyun continued. Life is so unfair. We were born with the exact same face, but I'm a young master, while you're a condemned prisoner. Now, I'll give you a rare opportunity. Chance to become the third young master of the Fu family. Hearing that, Zheng Nhi was surprised, and a question echoed in her head. Opportunity? Ma Qianban continued to explain. There's nothing difficult about it. You will be locked up in the mansion with delicious food, beautiful servants, and a comfortable bed you will be able to enjoy. All the things that you have never had the opportunity to enjoy. And when everything is over, you will receive a lot of money and freedom. Then you can go wherever you want. At this moment, The guard Cam took something out from inside and handed it to Chin NHI. "If you agree, eat this." Seeing them suddenly being so kind, Chin NH. "I suspected it was poison, didn't she?" Ma Kin Van replied, "Do you think we would blindly trust someone? A death row inmate. Like you. Why would we? If you complete the task I assign, I will give you the antidote. So what will you do?" Looking straight ahead, Chin NH. "I only thought of her grandfather. I have been given a second chance." He immediately opened his mouth, which Ma Kin Van found interesting. A chance for revenge. Zheng Ni swallowed hard, then said with glee, "So, young master, you're really going to give me that opportunity?" The scene before them made the three young masters look at Zheng Ni with different eyes. A wise decision indeed. "Bodyguard Gan, you may release his acupoints. Also, remove the shackles," the martial artist replied. "Yes, young master." The martial artist began releasing Zheng Ni's acupoints and removing the shackles, causing him to breathe a sigh of relief. The martial artist went ahead and said, "I will lead the way." "Young master, please follow me," Mu Jingyun replied. "All right, to ensure safety." He told Zheng Ni to go first. Looking around, there was no one in sight. The martial artist turned and said, "It's safe now, please proceed with caution." But they didn't expect that at that very moment, Zheng Ni acted with lightning speed. He twisted Mu Jingyun's head backward, catching the three young masters completely off guard. Zheng Ni's face revealed a clear look of delight as he murdered Mu Jingyun, while Mu Jingyun's sudden death caused the martial artist to scream in terror. What? Zheng Ni threw Mu Jingyun's body to the ground forcefully, looking down at the corpse with satisfaction, while bodyguard Gan was still stunned. Zhang NHI sneered. "Oh my, look who it is, the guard of honor. The imposter is already dead." Rewind to before the Scythe Fiend was captured. Suddenly, a blood-curdling scream ripped through the still air. Everyone panicked, scattering in all directions. The Scythe Fiend swung his weapon wildly. He clutched the hair of the severed head. Zhang NHI swung the scythe madly, a devilish grin etched on his face. Bloody head went flying. Zhang NH. I thought to himself, I've killed everyone I thought might have been involved in Grandpa's death. The intense emotion I feel while killing dozens of people is joy. He recalled his grandfather's instructions. Never reveal to anyone the true nature you are hiding. Inside yourself, Zhang NHI held the bloody scythe in his hand, his face unchanged. He tossed the head away. It tumbled grotesquely. He wondered, what kind of expression did I have while killing all those people? He raised his hand, staring at the blood covering it, trembling. Was I smiling? He gripped his mouth, then laughed in insane delight. Could this be the true nature Grandpa spoke of? No! Is my true nature actually evil? I don't know, but right now I'm going to hack and slash to my heart's content. Zhang NHI laughed without hesitation. Raising his scythe high, he chopped straight down without mercy. However, that scene hadn't played out for long when, a short while later, he was kicked straight in the gut, unable to defend himself. The kick was so powerful that he was sent flying far away. He crashed into a pile of rubble. Zhang NHI trembled as he slowly stood up from the force of his blow. Cough, cough. This surprised him. Are you still alive, huh? Impressive indeed. He slowly drew his sword, facing off against Zhang NHI. By this point, the pain was gradually subsiding, and he stood up, thinking to himself, this bastard, he's too dangerous. His eyes seemed to speak of the ruthless desire within. He approached, then said in amazement, it seems you haven't even learned martial arts yet, and yet you still survived my ultimate attack. Just then, he seemed to teleport, moving so fast that he unexpectedly recoiled, but he quickly had his neck seized, unable to move any further. Gradually, he was lifted into the air. It made him feel terrified. He's too fast. He's so far away, yet he can close the distance in a second. Is he even human? After all the trouble you've caused, he praises you, but it turns out you're just some nameless punk who doesn't know martial arts. Hearing him belittle me like that, he angrily thought, "You!" But he stabbed right into him, cutting off that train of thought. He cried out in pain, his face red, at the unexpected attack, then quickly drew his sword, making the wound even more serious. "A kid who doesn't know martial arts survived my ultimate attack? I'd better just kill you now." With that, he drew his sword and stabbed from the belly to the shoulder. The pain was so intense that his hands trembled, unable to grasp him tightly. "You shouldn't go around killing people. You're shortening your own lifespan. You should have lived a quiet life." In that extreme pain, he tossed and turned, thinking, "I've been defeated so easily. It took me so long to find Grandpa's killer." Life is gradually leaving him. About to leave this world, he helplessly asks himself, "Will I die like this?" At this moment, he chose to eliminate the three young masters in order to save himself. When Mok Hin Van fell, he immediately approached and asked, "Now what?" The bodyguard Cam, the imposter, is dead. Bodyguard Cam couldn't accept this, hurriedly raised his hand, grabbed his neck, and asked, his voice close, "You bastard, you madman! How dare you kill the young master? Do you want to die?" He wasn't worried, but just gently took his hand. Bodyguard Cam laughed with excitement, explaining, "The opposite is true. The substitute is meant to replace the position of the real person, to rush into danger. Blindly obeying in that situation is what would get me killed." Forcing a smile, but inside is a vast ocean. He tried to escape this situation, but no matter how hard he tried, he couldn't do anything. He thought to himself, "How is he so strong?" Pressing Chin NHI tightly against the wall, the martial artist worriedly asked, "You didn't think about the possibility that I could kill you?" Contrary to the fearful attitude of bodyguard Cam, Chin NHI only calmly replied, "If you intended to kill me, you would have done it already. I assume you don't have any loyalty to that young master at all." Hearing such unfounded accusations, the warrior threw him to the ground. He yelled, "Nonsense! I pressed you into the ground and drew my sword from behind. I warn you, I will kill you." With his carefree nature, not only was he unafraid, but he also wondered, "Is it necessary?" "Why not, since you've fallen into my trap?" he replied gently. "I took the poison you gave me and cannot live without the antidote, so that means I have no choice but to obey you. Isn't this a good opportunity for you? The three young masters of the manor, and the sword now will be a loyal dog to you." Hearing such persuasive words, the guard Cam wanted to confirm carefully and asked, "So you mean, you want me to betray the young master and use you as a puppet?" A meaningful smile bloomed on his lips, making the warrior understand what he would choose. He sighed, and then stabbed straight down from above. The quiet night also answered for the guard Cam. He planted the sword close to Chin, which made him feel amused. Sword away. The martial artist instructed, "From now on, you are Mu Jing Yun." His plan was a roaring success, filling him with immense glee. A sinister smile slowly bloomed on the lips of the young lad. At the Most Sword Manor, the guard gave instructions solemnly. "However, you won't meet anyone from the Most Sword Manor, understand?" Zheng Yi donned the coat, asking inquisitively, "So is this any different from being a mere stand-in, then? For since you chose to be a puppet instead of just a substitute, you have no right to ask questions, got it? If you're caught, I won't give you the antidote, understood?" The wary martial artist pointed directly at Zheng Yi, sternly warning him, "If you betray me or do anything sneaky, I'll kill you instantly." Zheng Yi agreed. "Understood." The martial artist, thinking he had Zheng Yi in the palm of his hand, tossed him something, saying, "Here, this grotesque thing is the antidote. If you don't drink it within 24 hours, the poison will spread throughout your body. Remember that?" Time ticked on as he ate the antidote, pondering deeply. "I'm so lucky. I not only escaped those deadly blows, that blade gave me a whole new lease on life. Maybe this is everything Grandpa did to stop me from dying. This kid won't die until Grandpa's vengeance is secured, so don't worry. That vengeful jerk probably thinks I'm dead. The corpse they found was likely Mu Jing Yun's. Martial arts, huh? This clan is said to use martial arts. I'll pretend to be the third young master and learn it. After that, I'll find the one who killed Grandpa. I remember the scene of Grandpa's tragic death. He looked into the distance. I'll chop him into blue paste and kill him the way he killed Grandpa. The sky is clear and blue at the top of the tall tower." Zheng Yi sat there, lost in thought. HMPH, I miraculously escaped death. Zheng Yi changed his clothes and dressed like Mu Jing Yun. He sat at a table set with 3 dishes. Holding chopsticks, he picked up noodles, his mind racing. Moreover, I have the opportunity to learn martial arts. Mu Jingyun spoke, then glanced around. Zheng Yi looked at the guard standing outside the door while sipping tea, lost in thought. That Gan bodyguard is always watching me. Zheng Yi felt annoyed in his heart. So troublesome. That guard outside is none other than Gao Zuan, soldier of the supervisor guard. Gao Zuan is on duty, his face incredibly grumpy. Gao Zuan taps his foot, muttering to himself. The supervisor guard is really overdoing it. What can a kid who doesn't even know martial arts do? Gao Zuan recalls the conversation he just had. Gao Zuan exclaims in surprise, Huh? He killed Mu Jingyun? So what do we do then? The supervisor guard stands before Gao Zuan, saying, Shut your mouth. Do you want the whole village to know? Gao Zuan quickly covers his mouth. The supervisor guard continues, As long as no one knows, it's fine. Here's your mission. The supervisor guard looks at Gao Zuan, issuing an order. Keep an eye on him. Don't let him leave. Wait a while longer, then I'll think of another plan. The supervisor guard grits his teeth, his eyes flashing viciously, he says. Toss him aside and shift to someone else. Cao Toan looked at the back of the cam guard. He asked Mr. Cam as the guard walked away, Didn't you say you gave him poison? So why worry that he won't listen to me? The reason we chose the three young masters is because... Cam guard interrupted. Is he not good enough? Cam Guard explained, He is not the type of person who will listen to others, even after being sentenced to death. And he even killed Ma Ken Van to take his position. Then he is definitely the type of person who will do anything to survive. Cam Guard walked to the door and evaluated. He's too dangerous. What benefit will we get from dealing with him? Cao Toan watched Cam Guard walk into the night and stood silently, not knowing what to say. Cao Toan felt uncomfortable. He was angry and unintentionally hit his head against the door, thinking in his heart, What does this kid have that I'm so afraid of? He has been poisoned and has no martial arts. Damn it, I can't disobey orders from above. Chin. NHI felt the movement outside, picking up a noodle with his chopsticks. NH. I thought, the cam guard didn't even say why they needed a representative. They just left a soldier in my school, and then he disappeared. Having been here for a short time, I understand this place a bit. This place isn't so dangerous that they need someone to die in place of chopsticks stirring the noodles. It's not to say that it's very safe, so they need a representative for something else. NHI tapped on the table and continued to think. Or is he deliberately not telling me? NHI smirked and laughed out loud. The chopsticks in his hand were broken in half. Ni's eyes sharpened. It's not like he intends to replace someone else. Outside the door, only Cao Toan stood guard alone. At this time, Cao Toan was fast asleep. There was even drool coming from his mouth. NHI opened the door, causing Cao Toan to be pushed and startled awake. Cao Toan asked, Do you need to bathe or anything? NHI stepped out and replied, No, I just want to breathe some fresh air. I also have something to ask you. May I come in? Cao Toan's face twisted in displeasure. He pointed inside the doorway, saying, Shut your trap and get back inside, or you'll regret it. Zhang Er's shirt was grabbed by Cao Toan, yet her expression remained calm. You said your name is Cao Toan, right? If we both keep our mouths shut, nothing bad has to happen, Cao Toan. He grabbed Zhang Er's shirt, slamming her against the door. Cao Toan's face loomed close ferociously. Have you forgotten your place or something? If you do that, I won't get any benefits at all, so just scram back inside. Zhang lowered her eyes, looking at Cao Toan before her. You're weaker than guard cam, aren't you? Cao Toan was confused. Huh? Zhang hand shot out, grabbing Cao Toan's shoulder. Quick as a flash, Zhang flipped Cao Toan head over heels. His hand was trapped in Zhang grasp, his shoulder pinned down. Cao Toan cried out from his awkward position. Swiftly, Cao Toan's pressure points were targeted, immobilizing him. Cao Toan thought to himself, Why can't I move? Did she really just hit my pressure points? That bastard hid the fact that he knew martial arts? Zhang Er looked at Cao Zuan lying motionless on the ground and uttered a slightly dazed, Huh? Zhang Er continued to poke Cao Zuan's back and said, Can you move? Did I do it wrong? I'm trying to learn, but it doesn't seem easy at all, huh? Cao Zuan was continuously hit with pressure points and cried out nonstop. Cao Zuan was so uncomfortable that tears wanted to flow out, and he thought in astonishment, What? What did he say? Does he mean he could imitate just by looking at it once? Lord Gan said, Indeed, this guy is dangerous. Cao Zuan's eyes at this moment reflected an image of Zhang smiling sinisterly and wickedly. Cao Zuan struggled, trembled, and turned around to ask Zing-er, "Have you forgotten that you've been poisoned? Don't forget, if you don't neutralize the poison regularly, you'll die. Die in an extremely painful way. Blood will flow out of 7 orifices, 2 ears, 2 eyes, 2 nostrils, and the mouth. If you don't release me," Cao Zhuan suddenly stammered, because Zing-er had covered his mouth with his hand. Cao Zhuan panicked and said, stuttering, "You damn bastard, what are you doing?" Zheng, NHI, brought her hand to her mouth. Biting so hard, blood poured out. "Oops, my blood is poisonous! I forgot." Zheng, NHI, dripped blood from her hand, forcing open Gao Shuan's mouth and letting it drip in. Gao Shuan couldn't believe what was happening. Gao Shuan clutched at his neck, collapsing to the ground, trembling in discomfort. "Poison! Poison! Poison!" Gao Shuan shuddered all over, falling to the floor, retching and vomiting uncontrollably. Gao Shuan thought to himself, "I must circulate my qi immediately. I need to use internal energy to force the poison out." Zheng NHI declared, "I've tested hundreds of poisons since I was little. To test herbs for my grandpa, that is. So my blood has gradually become poisonous." Zheng NHI lifted her foot, kicking Gao Shuan, who was cowering on the ground. Zheng NHI brought her bloodied hand to her mouth and licked it clean. "Just by smelling or tasting herbs, I know their names, so most poisons have no effect on me." Zheng Ni's eyes narrowed, her mouth curving into a threatening smile as she said, "So I don't need to detoxify anything." Can I ask you a question, pretty please? Because only I can counteract the poison in my blood." "You'll definitely need my help." Gao Shuan's face was covered in sweat, his body trembled, his eyes were fearful, and he looked like he was about to cry. But deep down, I just thought, he's a real devil. At the Taimu Sword Manor, Main Branch, in Manor Lord Mu's chambers, Manor Lord Mu Rantuan lay on the bed, his face pale and uneasy. The doctor, looking worried, sighed, then said, "Is there really nothing more that can be done?" The doctor dabbed Manor Lord Mu's face with a cloth. "I've used all my knowledge, experience, plus every herb I know, yet I can't find a cure for him. Manor Lord Mu, you should really pass on the title. The Mu Sword Manor has 4 young masters. However, the Manor Lord hasn't named an heir. He fell ill before he could. So we're merely in the calm before the storm, so to speak. If the Manor Lord passes, the young masters will spill blood to get the throne. The first wife deeply loves her eldest son. Who knows what she'll do to secure his position?" Madame Shi stepped into Manor Lord Mu's room. Madame Shi, the Manor Lord's first wife. She covered her mouth with a fan and asked with noble air, "How is Manor Lord?" The doctor looked at the person before him, lowered his head, and stammered, Madam." Madame Shi lost her patience. "I'm asking you, how is he?" The doctor replied, "Please forgive me. My knowledge is limited, so I couldn't find a way to treat it. This is a bizarre illness." Madame Shi raised her hand to her forehead, looking grieved, sighing. As expected, everyone calls it a strange disease that normal medicine can't cure. So the only way is to use occult methods. The doctor was slightly surprised. "Madam, that's..." The doctor's face was full of opposition. "Using occult methods is a mistake. Why would you resort to that method?" Madame Shi glanced at the doctor calmly. "So I just stand here and watch my husband die?" "Enough!" Madame Shi interrupted. "I don't want to hear any more. I'll call a sorcerer to cure him. You can leave now." The servants pushed the doctor away, and he could barely speak. Madame Thatch looked at Master Mok and said, "We will call a Taoist priest, treat Master Mok, so no one is allowed to enter here anymore, not even a ghost." Cao Toan raised his hand and coughed, and recounted the story to Qin NHI. "That is the current situation of Ma Kim Chang." Qin NH. I put her hand on her chin and said, I understand. All right, now let's go." Cao Toan sat on the floor blankly and asked, "Go where? Where do you think you're going?" Qin NHI looked out the window towards the house in the distance. Qin NHI put her hands on her hips and said, "Let's go to Master Mok's place." "Yes." The 2 people went out together. Qin NHI walked in front and asked, "So what you're saying is, initially, Ma Kinvan and Cam Ho, they wanted me to be a substitute for the eldest son, Mok An Hao, and started acting and wanted to kill the remaining sons. Is that right?" Qin NH. I looked at the painting in her hand and thought, This is not a bad plan. The person in the painting in Zheng Ni's hand is none other than the eldest young master, Mu Yinghao, at 20 years old. He has a birthmark on his left cheek, and he's so obsessed with it. He only leaves his room twice every few days. Out of the 4 of them, he's the most incompetent, the greediest, and the most vicious. As for the second picture, it's the image of the second young master, Mu Enping. At 18 years old, he has sharp eyes just like his mother, intelligent and cunning. He knows what he needs to do to inherit the position of clan leader. Mu Jingyun's original plan was to call these 2, along with himself, fake Mu Jingyun, to go to some location, order himself to provoke Mu Enping so that he would kill him. Then, the eldest young master would stab him in the back, killing the second young master. Those 2 would end up killing each other. This move is called the fisherman reaps the benefits. If that plan went according to the way they planned, even if someone survives, 2 brothers slash and killed each other, he will no longer be qualified to inherit. After that, the real Mu Jingyun would appear and seize everything. That guy does know how to use his brain, huh? Zheng Ni thought. Stringing together Mu Jingyun's plan, she made her assessment. Zheng Ni pondered. A variable has emerged. I've slain Mu Jingyun. Cao Zuan, following behind Zheng Ni, inquired, Why have you come to Master Mu's estate? Zheng Ni scattered the shredded images and explained, After hearing your account, I realized that Master Mu's life and death are also intertwined with my own destiny, hence my arrival. However, if Protector Gan sees you venturing out like this, Zheng Ni scattered the paper scraps, saying, You'll keep it a secret, won't you? Thanks a bunch, Cao Zuan. Cao Zuan grimaced, muttering under his breath, Damn it! The sky, a clear canvas, sunlight brilliantly illuminating Master Mu's estate. Madame Shi stood observing a Taoist priest entering. The priest, named Mu Shen, staff in hand, announced, Now may I examine Master Mu's condition? Madame Shi responded, I've heard tales of Priest Mu's extraordinary abilities, so I shall trust you this once. Mu Shen, back laden with luggage, staff in hand, answers, Thank you. This bizarre illness just gets worse and worse. Therefore, I beg you, ask everyone in this manner to leave to avoid any risks. Madame Shi interrupts, I've already sent everyone away. Only guards remain at the entrances. Mu Shen says, You also need to leave, madam. Madame Shi walks away. You haven't forgotten what I told you, have you? Mu Shen replies resolutely, Of course not. Madame Shi walks away, saying, The secrets and seal of Zhuang Master Mu. If you find them, I'll reward you with 300 silver taels. Mu Shen responds, Many thanks. Madame Shi orders, Now, all of you, get out of here until you receive further orders. Madame Shi walks away, chuckling to herself. Truthfully, I don't believe in such dark things as the magic of a sorcerer. But before Madame Shi, down below, is an image of a young man diligently practicing martial arts. Madame Shi glances at Mu Yu Tian. The one practicing martial arts is the 4th young master, Mu Yu Tian. Madame Shi watches Mu Yu Tian practicing martial arts. Sweat drips down his face as she thinks to herself, The child of a lowly courtesan. How pathetic. I can excuse him flirting with a beauty, but transferring the throne to such inferior blood is unforgivable. Madame Shi was extremely displeased and turned away at that moment. Zheng Ni and Cao Zuan also just arrived on the other side. Zheng Ni sensed it and asked if someone was here. Cao Zuan replied that it was the 4th young master. Looks like he's practicing martial arts. That's Mu Yu Tian. Zheng Ni looked at Mu Yu Tian and thought, Mu Yu Tian is knowledgeable about martial arts and always strives to improve. His personality is similar to Manor Lord Mu's, so he receives the most attention. Zheng Ni pondered and asked, Is that a way to practice martial arts? Cao Zuan enthusiastically lowered himself, slapped his knees with both hands, and explained he is using the horse stance to strengthen the power of his lower body, because most martial arts moves come from the lower body. Zheng Ni replied, I understand now, Cao Zuan. If I learn martial arts, can I kill Gan Hu Wei? Cao Zuan was stunned to hear that. Zhang Nhi narrowed his eyes. Didn't you hear my question? I asked, if I finish learning martial arts, can I kill that Cam bodyguard? Gao Xuan choked, unable to answer. What's up with him? Could this brat have realized he's about to be tossed aside? I knew he was smart. He's truly extraordinary. However, Gao Xuan swallowed. Gao Xuan answered, "Young master, the foundation of martial arts relies on cultivating internal energy through breathing. In other words, circulating natural energy throughout the body via breathing techniques. That means accumulating internal power. When internal power is accumulated, you'll become stronger. However, internal power isn't something that can form overnight. Even if you learn martial arts, it'll be difficult to defeat a master like that Cam bodyguard, because he's cultivated internal power for 35 years, much longer than you. Of course, his technique is equally outstanding." Zheng Nhi asked, "So it's difficult to defeat him in a short time?" Gao Xuan touched his nose, secretly laughing to himself. "No, even if you trained your whole life, you couldn't. There's a very important special stage in cultivation. If you don't cultivate internal energy by the age of 59, your vital energy will be insufficient, so no matter what you do, it will be difficult to accumulate internal energy." "You mean I'll never be able to accumulate internal energy?" Gao Xuan felt happy inside. However, he didn't dare to laugh out loud and could only hold it in. "Understood. Try your best. Even if you do it, it'll only be so-so." Suddenly, Zheng Ni turned around to face Gao Xuan. Zheng Ni reached out and pulled down Gao Xuan's lower eyelid. "Your eyes look so treacherous. I really want to gouge them out." Gao Xuan couldn't do anything but bite his lip in fear. "Gao Xuan, protector, be my person." Zheng Ni reached out and smiled. Gao Xuan lowered his head and replied, "Yes." Gao Xuan touched his eyes, his heart filled with fear. Zheng Ni stroked her chin thoughtfully. "So killing Protector Gan is impossible after all. Protector Gan doesn't trust me. Therefore, it's very difficult to bring him over to our side." Gao Xuan spoke up. "Perhaps we should leave. Why does Si Gongzi dislike Mu Gongzi so much?" What exactly happened? Cao Tuan recounted that 2 years ago, Mu Gongzi actually called Si Gongzi's mother a whore. From then on, he harbored great resentment. Zheng Er laughed loudly. "Si Gongzi is truly too kind-hearted. How did that jerk even manage to keep all his limbs intact?" "That's right," Cao Tuan said. "But regardless, we should leave now. Staying here any longer will only spell trouble for us, okay?" On the other side, Yu Ting grimaced, sweat pouring as he circulated his energy. Dusk, at Mu Zhuangju's estate. Inside Mu Zhuangju's room, red strings are arranged throughout the room. Silver coins hang from these red strings. Mu Zhuangju lies on the bed. Both hands and feet are tightly bound with red strings by the exorcist. Mu Shen stands before Mu Zhuangju's bed, holding those red threads in his hand. On Mu Zhuangju's chest, purple veins protrude, a purple patch right next to the heart. Mu Shen assessed the situation. These signs are caused by murderous aura. The killing intent will slowly consume his body, still intact. Truly a martial artist. However, it's been going on for too long, so his chances of survival are only about 50%. I just need to do it. No need to worry whether he lives or dies. Muo Shen, display my tools. Hand holding the brush, dipped in red ink, writing on the yellow talisman on the ground. Heavenly Emperor Yi, Jiang Bei Dai, Heavenly Gang. 5 fierce and evil ghosts, why not disappear? Flying Immortal inhales. 10,000 ghosts submit and hide. Great Master, Great Sage, imparting knowledge, ghosts say take your last breath. Muo Shen shouts, then transforms the talisman, flying straight towards Mu Zhuangju. The talisman lands right next to Mu Zhuangju's heart. The talisman emits a light. Muo Shen clasps his hands together and shouts, "Heart disease, little Saint Mystic Pill, protect the position, spiritual manifestation." In an instant, golden armor sweeps across, searching for strange encounters. 3 officers separate the orifices. Water and earth stir. Iron armor sweeps across. Water washes away dead ghosts. Greedy demons lower their mouths, paying tribute to the High Master. Heavenly water transforms, opens the passage. Iron gate. Mu Zhuangju also cries out a few times. Muo Shen is uneasy in his heart. Damn it. The killing intent is too strong. Muo Shen shouts again, begging to appoint Jian Duan to keep the courtyard. The trial lecture will be reappointed. Greedy demon dies, not cherishing his life, and is given to Yue. The Muzhuang master's eyes opened red and bloodshot. The door of the room suddenly burst open. Mu Chen panicked. Who's coming in? Why isn't Madam here? If someone interferes midway, power is emanating strongly from within the Mu Zhuang master. Mu Chen was blasted away by that power. Mu Chen looked up. He saw two people entering, Zheng Er and Gao Quan. Gao Quan exclaimed in surprise, "Huh, what's going on here?" Mu Chen, not understanding, asked, "Who are you?" Gao Quan ignored him and asked, "Hey, Mu Zhuang master." Zheng Er said, "Ah, that's the Mu Zhuang master." Zheng Er clasped his hands. "Your son greets father." The Mu Zhuang master lay on the bed, able only to speak with difficulty. Zheng Er looked at the person lying on the bed and said, "I've come to see father here." Mu Chen said loudly, "Please go back. Whether you are his son or whoever, please just leave. Haven't you received the great madam's orders yet?" Gao Quan blocked Mu Chen from approaching, saying, "Who are you to be so insolent here?" Zhang Nhi stared at the person lying on the bed with a talisman on their chest, stroking his chin. He pondered intently. Mu Chen said, "I'm suppressing a strange, rebellious, demonic energy within him." "That demonic energy is growing stronger within the Manor Lord," he added. Gao Xuan asked in shock, "Rebellious? Could you be a sorcerer?" Mu Shen yelled, "Get out of here, quick!" Mu Shen tried to shoo Zhong Nhi and Gao Zhuan out. "Hurry, leave. If something goes wrong, it could." Before Mu Shen could finish, a retching sound, like someone spitting something out, echoed. Mu Shen and Gao Xuan were stunned. They looked towards Manor Lord Mu. Zhang Nhi, however, remained composed. Manor Lord Mu foamed at the mouth and drooled, emitting terrifying cries. Zhang N.H. I looked at the person before him, thinking, what on earth? Manor Lord. Looking at Manor Lord Mu's purplish face, with bulging blue veins and a constantly gaping mouth, his vacant eyes bloodshot and terrifying. In an instant, Manor Lord Mu convulsed and jumped up, his whole body radiating murderous intent. Zheng Nhi surmised, "An evil spirit has taken over his body, huh?" The Divine Mo shrieked, waving his hand. "Help me! Quickly, hold Master Mu down! Don't let the threads snap." Gao Zuan was confused. "Hold him down?" the Divine Mo urged. "Hurry! Master Mu is ascending." The talisman on Master Mu's chest also broke and flew off. Zhang Nhi and Gao Zuan each grabbed an arm, holding Master Mu on either side. The Divine Mo swiftly applied a new talisman, sealing it on Master Mu's forehead. "This talisman is powerful. It will suppress the evil spirit and cure the strange illness. It'll help purge the demon within Master Mu's body." Master Mu screamed in agony. Suddenly, Master Mu reached out and seized Gao Zuan's arm. "Master Mu!" He looked as if he wanted to rip Gao Zuan's arm off. Gao Zuan, terrified, cried out in horror. Master Mu lay on the bed. His hand remained clenched tightly around Gao Zuan's arm. "I underestimated this demon's strength," the Divine Mo assessed, as Zhang Nhi noticed something. The Divine Mo cautioned Gao Zuan, "Endure. Just bear with it. If the demon moves, you'll also be in danger." Gao Zuan stared at his arm, seeing bulging veins, the very pathways of the demon. Moving on the arm. Afraid of what? Moving demons? Why is he only saying this now? The demonic circuit line is going from Mu Zhuangzu's arm, approaching Gao Xuan's arm. Gao Xuan shouted, "It's coming!" Zheng Er, standing beside him, quickly swung his sword out with a whoosh. The sword decisively pierced through Mu Zhuangzu's arm. The arm separated from the body. Blood splattered everywhere. Gao Xuan couldn't believe it. Zheng Er's face was calm. Mu Shen, who was preparing to chant a spell, was equally shocked. Looking at Mu Zhuangzu's severed arm, Mu Shen stammered, "You are?" Zheng Er grinned wickedly. Gao Xuan panicked. "Please! You can't. Stop." Zheng Er didn't bother listening. With one hand holding the sword, he decisively chopped at the remaining part of Mu Zhuangzu's severed arm. Blood gushed out like a tide. Gao Xuan dodged, horrified. "This madman! He has chopped off the Zhuangzu's arm." On the floor was the severed arm, covered in bulging veins, almost steaming. Mu Shen quickly took a talisman and sealed the severed arm. Gao Xuan worried. He took cloth to wrap around Mu Zhuangzu's severed arm. "Gotta stop the bleeding, quick." Mu Shen stared at his severed arm lying peacefully on the ground, thinking, this is a huge problem. Mission failed 7 times. Even the Manor Lord's arm got chopped off. I need to scram before things escalate. I'll just tidy up a bit. Then I'm out of here. Suddenly, a blood-stained sword was at Mu Shen's neck. Mu Shen, seeing the person behind him pointing a sword at him, asked, "Gongzi, what are you doing?" Gao Xuan didn't understand. "Gongzi." Zheng Yi gestured to Gao Xuan to be silent. Zheng Yi still held the sword to Mu Shen's neck, coldly saying, "Is the Manor Lord's condition worsening because of him?" Mu Shen replied, "Can't you see? The Manor Lord is being possessed by an evil spirit. This isn't simple at all. Manor Lord could even lose his life. We don't have time. Are you saying that you want the Manor Lord to die?" Zheng Yi noticed the hidden meaning in his words, asking, also wanted Mu Shen to realize he misspoke. Sweat pouring, Zheng Yi asked with a cheerful face, "Are you saying that someone else wants the Manor Lord to die too? Is that right? Is NHI directly saying that the madam sent you here?" Mo Shen, in a posture of surrendering with both hands, denied it. "You misunderstand." Zheng NHI lost patience. "My hands are getting tired. If you're honest, you can still save your life." Mo Shen, his face covered in sweat, hurriedly said it was the madam. "The madam said I don't need to save the master. The madam said I should take advantage of the demon to find the secret manual and the seal of the master that is being kept." Cao Tone was surprised. Zheng NHI asked about the master's secret manual and seal. Cao Tone was shocked and thought to himself, "Damn it! The madam dares to do such a thing. This is clearly to make the eldest son the master." Cao Tone hurriedly looked at Zheng NHI and said, "Young master, I beg you to save the master." Cao Tone thought in his head, "I must prevent the eldest son from becoming the master." Cao Tone continued, "Otherwise, the madam will target the young master." Zheng NHI raised his hand and stroked his chin, saying, "That's right, because I'm hindering her." Mo Shen said, "Young master, I can save the master by any means. I will save him." Zheng NHI replied, "You don't need to. Just do your job." Mo Shen didn't understand and uttered a sound. Zheng NHI sheathed his sword, slung it over his shoulder, and grinned, saying, "Your task is to tell me the location of BG and that seal. Got it?" Both Gao Xuan and Mu Chen listened in disbelief. Mu Chen replied, "If the master is possessed by a demon again, I fear it will affect his life." Zheng NHI, unconcerned, ordered, "Hurry up!" Gao Xuan thought, "That lunatic! What is he trying to do? Why isn't he focused on saving the master?" Mu Chen replied, "I understand." The room was brightly lit. Gao Xuan and Zheng NHI watched as Mu Chen held a straw doll, preparing to work. Zheng NH. I looked at the straw doll with a talisman stuck on it and asked, "What's that?" Mu Chen replied, "It's a voodoo doll. If the master is possessed by a demon again, then he will surely lose his life. After I link it to the master, I can trick that evil spirit into thinking this doll is the master." Mu Chen held the talisman near the doll, which stood steadily on a severed arm, and said, "I'm starting now." Mu Chen began chanting, "This puppet transformation is heaven-defying, and I shall personally execute this final step. 6. Everything I own, gods and spirits dare not defy. Hurry, hurry, as the law commands." Zhuangju's eyes are turning blue as he screams. Zheng and Gao Xuan stare in shock. The ghostly arm is clutching the puppet tightly. Mu Shen continues chanting the incantation. Personally execute step 6. 7. Everything I command, gods and spirits dare not disobey. Hurry, hurry, as the law commands. Mu Shen thinks, too much power. Too strong. If I force it further, that nasty demon, that high-level baddie will break free. At that point, he definitely won't believe a word I say. What should I do? An idea sparks in Mu Shen's brain. Mu Shen smiles slyly. Mu Shen speaks up. "Young master, I've managed to control the demon. Is that guy here? Are you okay?" Gao Xuan stands at the open door, thinking. On second thought, staying here is a bad idea. Gao Xuan says, "I'll just step outside for a bit." Mu Shen continues, "Let's get this show on the road." Puppet transformation, heaven and earth change. Subdued by the Z family, body moves as 1, 6th, and 7th. Everything I, Wu Qi, possess, gods and demons cannot escape. Hurry, hurry, as the law commands. The Mu Manor Lord lies on the bed, his face contorted, grumbling. Mu Manor Lord's eyes glow, his voice strained. "Who is calling me?" "All right, hurry, hurry, as the law commands. Spirit, answer me. The spirit replies, you called. What do you want to ask? Mushen says, hurry, hurry, as the law commands. Where are the Manor Lord's seal and secret manual? The Manor Lord lies on the bed and screams. The spirit answers, beneath the medicine hall, beyond the Dingshi Gate. The two of them hear this and think, beneath the medicine hall, beyond the Dingshi Gate, huh? Ghostly hand grips the effigy tightly. In an instant, things are thrown everywhere. Mu Shen hurriedly says, young master, cut the thread. Mu Shen explains, the evil ghost wants to devour the Manor Lord's body. Hurry. Sung Nhi, take your sword and cut it. The ghostly hands grab Zheng Ni's legs. Those things are crawling all over Zheng Ni's legs. They crawl and hug Zheng Nhi. Zheng Nhi stared in shock at Mu Shen before him. Mu Shen grinned, a sinister glint in his eyes. Those arms wrapped around Zheng Ni's entire body. They covered his face completely. A retching sound burst forth. Mu Shen plastered a talisman to Zheng Ni's forehead. From the start, it was a monster with terrifying killing intent. Its breaking free of the seal was only a matter of time. But luckily, it infiltrated this scoundrel. Truly something hardcore. Mu Shen, figurine in hand, pointed it towards Zheng Nhi, who was frozen, kneeling on the ground in his sealed state. Mu Shen chuckled wickedly. I've completed my task and removed an obstacle, too. What a two birds, one stone kind of day. I'll just pin all these problems here on you, then we're done. A voice rose, and with it, eyes began appearing incessantly. You dare deceive me with this figurine? Unforgivable. Dare to trifle with me, huh? You're so young, it's a pity. I shall possess your body, replacing that old geezer, condemning you to be forever trapped in the depths of your own mind. At this moment, sunlight streamed through the leaves, dappling on Zheng Ni's shoulder. Zheng, Nhi, face blank, a basket slung over her shoulder. Lush greenery, and before Zheng Nhi, a cool, clear stream. Zheng Nhi stared, muttering, Isn't this the hot spring I've always come to? Vibrant trees, birds chirping merrily on the branches, a peaceful mountain. I know this place very well. Zheng Nhi stood amidst the mountains and forests beside the flowing stream. This is the water source where I get water every morning. I can't forget it, no matter how hard I try. Zheng Nhi reached out, scooping up water with a wooden bucket. This is where I always come. However, something feels very different today. Zheng Nhi, bucket in hand, started walking back. What's this feeling? This unease? It's as if I've forgotten something. Far off in the distance, black smoke billowed, a fire raging. Zheng Nhi gasped. That direction. That's my home. Zheng Nhi hastily dropped the bucket and ran as fast as she could. Zheng Nhi frantically ran. Grandpa, please, 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 Grandpa, Zheng Nhi shouted as she ran home. Zheng Nhi was stunned. He stared at the old man lying on the ground, covered in blood. Zheng Nhi couldn't believe it and cried out, Grandpa! Zheng Nhi helped his grandfather up. Wake up, Grandpa, please. Zheng Nhi was stunned, unable to process it. This can't be happening. Who dares do this? Zheng Nhi prayed silently. No, Grandpa, please. Please don't leave me here. Only now do I realize how much Grandpa's presence means to me, truly. Grandpa really is important to me. Heartbroken, Zheng Nhi hugged his grandfather tightly, burying his face. A voice from the soul spoke. Very well. A high-level demon witnessed the most heartbreaking scene, Zheng Ni's most cherished thing, and said, That is precisely your desire. The high-level demon extended his hand, a light appearing. Purple rays flew over, approaching and embracing Zheng Nhi. The purple rays invaded, entering from his ear, a voice echoing, Hey, what are you doing sitting there, kiddo? Purple rays reached Zheng Ni's eyes. Zheng Nhi was startled. The house wasn't touched by the fire, and Grandpa's holding a basket, saying something. Hurry up and give me a hand. What are you doing, just standing around and gawking? Those purple rays have invaded Zheng Ni's entire body. He's surprised. Grandpa, what on earth happened? Purple rays are appearing in Zheng Ni's eyes. His eyes are changing color, turning blue. Zheng Ni, deeply moved, runs to hug his grandpa, Grandpa! Grandpa's surprised by the sudden hug and doesn't understand. This kid! Why so sudden? You'll make me fall. Zhang Ni hugs his grandpa tightly, choked up. Grand. He thinks to himself, I won't lose you again, not this time, because you're the only reason I kept living when I should have died. Grandpa hugs him back, gently patting Zhang Ni's head and says, This kid is so weird. A high-level demon witnesses this and chuckles. All right, he's the one. A precious past, lost memories and family affection, eternal happiness. Zheng NHI and Grandpa are finally having a good chat together. Grandpa, there's something I've been wanting to ask you. Why did you name me Zheng, huh? Ah, the soul is watching the two of them. Then stay by your grandpa's side forever. Don't ever lose what's precious again. Zheng NHI glances over and speaks up, making a sound. Soul, with an astonished look in its eyes. What? What is it, Zheng NHI? He reaches out and pinches the high-level demon's face. He reaches out, firmly holding the high-level demon while smiling. Thanks to you, I remembered this unpleasant memory again, you know. The high-level demon can't believe his ears. That's absurd. How can you see me? Zheng NHI pinches the high-level demon's face. This is really too much. How dare you mess with my deceased grandpa? But perhaps, I think you and I have misunderstood something. Zheng NHI grits his teeth. The greatest wish is happiness. If that's the case, then you have to express it correctly. My wish isn't to revive my grandpa. It's to make those who framed him wish they were dead. That's what I'm talking about. Zheng Er's eyes are full of hatred, yet sharp. The high-level demon, oppressed by his aura, senses something. Something is surging deep within his heart. I am pure, unadulterated hatred, filled with murderous intent. Not just any ordinary murderous aura, mind you. Pure malice that even vengeful spirits wouldn't dare cross. This feeling. Could a normal person really possess this while still alive? However, something stopped him from killing. What could it be? Grandpa's calling from the other side, he rasped. Zheng, is that you? I ask. Why did you give me the name Zheng, Grandpa? You are a special child, different from others. But this old man wants you to grow up to be a good and righteous person. Therefore, I named you Zheng. As the name suggests, I hope you will do what is right and not get lost. Grandpa is fading away. So from now on, remember to grow up properly, okay? Grandpa vanishes. Then the hand squeezes the demon's terrified face. The high-level demon screams with all its might. Finally escaped that Zheng Gotta run. Zheng scythe in hand, is chasing after that running high-level devil. This guy is seriously bonkers. Must go deeper into his mind. An image of Zheng wielding a scythe and giving chase. Whew. Just made it inside his body. Gotta seize control of his consciousness pronto. The high-level devil's foot touches the green grass. The high-level devil stands beneath the blue sky. Sunlight shines down. At this moment, the devil, high-level devil, is standing in a field of lush green flowers. A meadow? Is this what's hidden deep within this guy's mind? Before the high-level devil is a door sealed with a talisman. A door. A sealed door. Could it be that this guy's memories are sealed too? But why though? Never mind that. None of that matters. I gotta open this thing and delve deeper inside. The high-level devil reaches out and touches the door. As long as I invade it. That's all. The boundless demon hasn't even been touched yet. Then black energy appears. Therefore, the boundless demon is surrounded by black threads. Its feet are also entangled by black threads. The boundless demon is terrified. Can he control me? No way. Stop it now. If this continues, I'll be killed by that guy. The boundless demon is enveloped by black rays, its hand reaching out for help. A blood-curdling scream rings out. Zheng Ni jolts awake. Yu Shen returns to reality. Purple energy emanating from him. Zheng Ni is being sealed by a talisman. Mu Shen hears the noise and can't believe it. Impossible. Zheng Ni opens her eyes, reaching out to remove the talisman from her forehead. Zheng Ni stands up, her hand covered in black energy. Zheng Ni gazes coldly. Mu Shen couldn't believe his eyes at what was happening before him. Zheng Ni glanced and ordered the demon monk. The demon monk put his palms together and obeyed. Meanwhile, somewhere at Mu Manor, is this really okay? Someone sat on the steps, sighing with melancholy. It was Zhang Ming Chen. the inner hall master of Mu's Sword Manor. Zhang Ming-chen recalled Manor Lord Mu Rentuan. When he was still a young man, he was a chivalrous and talented hero. Everything he did brought glory to Sword Manor. Everyone thought whatever he did was right. I was fortunate enough to meet and get to know him. It was 19 years ago, during a pirate suppression in Hainan. At that time, I was also a well-known hero in the Zhenghu with martial arts that were by no means ordinary. Back then, the Manor Lord and I worked together to wipe out the pirates wreaking havoc in Hainan. Later, I followed the Manor Lord back to Sword Manor and became a hallmaster. Under his command, I swore to be loyal to him until my dying breath. Ming-chen looked up at the sky and sighed. But I don't understand why things have become like this now. Ming-chen remembered the words of Madame Shi, inner hall master Zong. Do you think handing over the power of the Wooden Sword Manor to that kid is the right thing to do? For the future of the Wooden Sword Manor, I think you should temporarily stay away. Wait until that Fang Shi finds the location of the secret manual and the seal of the Wooden Sword Manor. That's enough, out of loyalty to the Manor Lord, quietly followed that suggestion. But in my heart, there are still many things I'm not at ease about. I don't understand why the Manor Lord is in such a state. Can that Fang Shi possibly do anything? Or are they planning to use some kind of drug to control the Manor Lord? Dan Than rested his chin on his hand and pondered. Dan Than made a decision and stood up. Damn it! I can't just sit here and wait any longer. Sitting and waiting like this doesn't suit my personality. I need to take action. I can't let them harm the Manor Lord. Dan Than grabbed his sword and headed towards the Wooden Manor Lord's room. I should probably go back to the Wooden Sword Manor and see what they're doing, Mo Than thought in a flustered manner. Why is the evil demon suddenly emitting such terrifying power? This is definitely a high-ranking demon. The master even smiles while summoning the demon monk? Kill this Fang Shi for me. The demon monk obeys and attacks. Mu Chen's face is covered in sweat. He's shocked. Mu Chen steps forward, using his magic to block the demon monk's attack. Mu Chen is worried deep down. No way! How could he order this demon to attack me? This is impossible. These evil spirits and demons are primordial souls. They only do what they want. How could they possibly follow a human's orders? This demon is just too wicked. No one can control them. Mu Chen struggles to defend himself. The demon monk unleashes an attack, and Mu Chen is sent flying. Mu Chen supports himself against the wall, staring at the demon monk in disbelief. The demon monk's eyes glow red as he smiles menacingly. Mu Chen is terrified. No! The demon monk steps forward, and Mu Chen shouts, "Don't come near me! No!" The demon monk opens his mouth wide, charging towards Mu Chen in a fright. The demon monk's chest is covered with hands, groping and pulling, eyes lighting up. The demon monk reaches out. Those hands grab Mu Shen's hand. The demon monk has captured Mu Shen. Mu Shen crawls, reaching out, begging for help. Please, save my life, young master. Please, spare my life this time, young master. In the future, whatever you command, I shall obey. Zheng Yi crosses his arms, watching, and says callously, "Forget it." Mu Shen says hopelessly, "Young master wants to kill me just because I deceived you? Then I hope," Zheng Yi cuts him off. "It's not like that at all. It's simply because you know about the seal and that martial arts secret manual. In this world, knowing too much isn't a good thing, is it? That bastard, he's been plotting this from the start." Mu Shen, being dragged away by the demon monk, resists. His hands grip tightly on the floor, blood flowing, creating long streaks of blood. Mu Shen's face is enveloped by those hands. "You're going to kill me, then." Zheng Yi leans towards the door, saying to Gao Xuan outside, "Come in! It's over!" Gao Xuan steps in, startled, exclaiming. Mu Shen's body is massacred. Covered in blood, Mu Shen dies with his eyes wide open. "Yes, Master Physician, he is already dead." Qin, NHI, bent down, picked up the sword lying on the ground, and replied, "Move this body out of the Trang Chu's room. Don't leave it here. If there's anything, we'll talk later." Cao Toan obeys. Yes, yes. The reason this Master Physician died here is because of this. Qin, NHI, raised his sword, and the objects in the room fell because they were hit by the sword. They shattered. Qin Yi's face was cold. His hand continuously raised the sword. He was infiltrated by the evil spirit on Trang Chu's body because his magic power wasn't enough. Therefore, he went crazy and swung his sword around randomly because Trang Chu was unconscious and couldn't defend himself. At that time, he went mad and cut off his hand. At that time, I tried to stop him, but it was too late. In the end, I just finished him off to stop his frenzy. Cao Tuan held the Modhan in his hand, unable to say anything more. Cao Tuan asked again, "Young master, you mean you are staging the master physician's madness and rampage to cover up this matter?" Qin, NHI, seeing the hidden meaning, asked, "Do you think there is a problem?" Cao Tuan thought to himself, "What he said makes sense, however. Will those guys believe it? As for the first madam, she is suspicious by nature. She will definitely investigate this matter thoroughly." Cao Tuan spoke up. "Young master, I think we should be careful in everything we do. We can't just act recklessly. You could lose your life if there's any slip-up." Zheng Ru asked, "So, you're saying there are still loopholes?" Cao Tuan replied, "Whatever you say, the alchemist was invited by the first madam. He must be quite the expert. Young master only said that he was possessed by an evil spirit and went mad. Then, young master killed him to prevent him from harming the master. That sounds reasonable. But the first madam is suspicious. How could she just believe it and let it go? Especially since this is an important matter." Zheng Ru agreed. "What you said makes sense. I haven't thought it through thoroughly. Perhaps adding a little something to make it more believable is necessary. Let's see. Like this." Zheng Ru raised his sword. "What are you planning to do, young master?" The alchemist went crazy and chopped off the master's arm. I stopped him, however, with my strength. I was also seriously injured by him. Zheng Er stabbed himself in the thigh with a sword, blood splattering everywhere. Gao Xuan was astonished. "This is a bit much." Zhang Er tossed the blood-soaked sword aside, thinking, "How about that?" Zheng Er wiped his face with one hand. The other hand was covered in red stains. "Now, does it seem more believable? Or what?" Gao Xuan looked at the person before him, thinking, "This guy is truly insane. Yet it makes sense. With the first madam's temperament, if he didn't go this far, how would she believe him? Taking a sword thrust is better than losing one's life. Still, seeing it with my own eyes, I still feel this bastard is way too cunning. It terrifies me endlessly." Gao Xuan spoke. "Let this humble one bandage your wound for you, young master." Zheng Er sat on an overturned table, his legs soaked in blood, but refused. "It's nothing. Leave it be. It looks more believable that way. The more horrifying, the better. Now that I'm serving him, I need to be careful and cautious, or I'll end up dying without even knowing why. Whatever happens, I'll just follow him closely. I'll make sure he doesn't choose me as his target." At this moment, Ming Shen kicks the door open. Cao Xuan is caught off guard and blurts out, "Oh, Lord of the Inner Hall, why are you here?" Ming Shen surveys everything in the room, horrified. What's going on here? Before them, Mu Zhuangzhu is lying on the bed, and Mu Shen is collapsed on the bed beside Mu Zhuangzhu. Ming Shen flares up, "You two good-for-nothings! Just what do you think you're doing? Are you trying to kill Zhuangzhu?" Cao Xuan quickly says, "Please, calm down. This is just a misunderstanding." Zheng Ni also hurriedly advises, "Please, be calm." Zheng Ni says weakly, "Whatever it is, please check on Zhuangzhu's condition first." "I've already tried my best." Zheng Ni immediately collapses to the ground, unconscious. Ming Shen shouts, directly questioning Cao Xuan, "What happened here? Where is the method master? Why is he lying dead over there? And why are you three here? Tell me everything quickly." "Well, about this." Cao Xuan glances at Zheng Ni lying on the ground and smirks. Cao Xuan curses inwardly, "This bastard, he's smiling? He seems to be putting on an act." At the medicine hall, all kinds of herbs are neatly arranged. The cabinet drawers also have various medicines. Zheng Ni is lying on the bed. One leg is injured and drawn up, with both hands behind her head, pondering. Smelling the scent of medicinal herbs makes my spirit feel somewhat relaxed. Lying in the medicine hall within the Dingxi Gate is truly comfortable. Luckily, I arrived at the right place, hiding the secret that the Manor Lord mentioned, truly killing two birds with one stone, both avoiding Madame D and coming here to investigate. Even so, the secret and its hiding place here won't be found easily. Right now, there are still too many doctors and servants here. Therefore, it's best if I just lie still and observe. Gao Xuan, with one arm bandaged, wearily walks in. "Young master, I, Gao, have arrived." Zheng sits up. What took you so long? Gao Zhuan reaches into his robe and pulls out 2 books. These are the books from the alchemist that I found, as you requested, young master. All right. Thank you. But you only found 2 books? Yes, madam. That's why it's difficult to act before they take everything of that mystic Fang Xi to be burned. I could only secretly save these 2 books. Zheng Yi, holding a book in his hands, asks, You mean burn them all? Yes, madam has ordered them all destroyed. Even his corpse is gone without a trace. Perhaps she wants to erase all evidence. Thinking about it, this is normal for her mentality. I understand. Zheng Yi looks back and forth at the books, thinking. In the end, only 2 books remain. Yin Yang Supernatural Power Heavenly Book and Mystic Apprentice Beginner's Guide. It's a shame, but nothing can be done. Thank you very much. Why are you looking at me like that? What's the meaning? Gao Zhuan replies, No, I just have some doubts. I don't understand what the young master is doing with these 2 books. Does the young master understand what's being said in them? Zheng Yi points towards the window and asks, Look outside the window and tell me what you see. Is there anything besides that? Gao Zhuan walks closer. Before him is a night sky filled with clouds. There's nothing to see outside this window, sir. However, there's a demonic monk standing outside. Zheng Yi said, That's precisely why we need to read this book. Got it? So young master means there's an unholy sound outside? Madam, the young master still hasn't recovered. Get out of my way. Opening the door and stepping inside. It's Madam Xi. Madam Xi's expression wasn't very cheerful as she spoke. May I have a word with you? Zheng Yi lowered his eyes, looking at Madam Xi before him as she entered, looking at Zheng Yi lying on the bed. Let's talk for a bit. Gao Zhuan stood before Zheng Yi, bowing his head respectfully. Greetings, madam. Zheng Yi thought to himself, the madam. She's the woman in that painting, the first wife of Zhuang Master Mu, coming from the Xi family manor, a martial arts family. This Madam Xi is someone that Protector Gan is extremely wary of. She hails from a martial arts family and is a first-rate expert. Also, she's a very clever woman. He told me I must be extra careful with young master Mu Ying Hao. Zheng Nhi also clasped his hands, saying, Greetings, great madam. Please forgive me for the wound on my leg. Prevents me from standing to perform the proper courtesies. Gao Zhuan felt relieved, inwardly thinking, luckily he knows how to behave appropriately. If he continues to act so cleverly, nothing will happen. Madam Xi spoke up. I did not come here to listen to your greetings. Zhong Nhi, not quite understanding, replied, Yes. Madam Xi used her hand to strike a powerful blow directly at the wound. On Zheng Yi's thigh, blood splattered out, and both Gao Zhuan and Zheng Nhi were astonished. Zheng Nhi cried out. Gao Zhuan exclaimed in horror, Wow! What is this? At that moment, Huo-En drew his sword, placing it directly at Gao Zhuan's neck. Huo-En coldly said, Don't move! Madam Xi looked at Zheng Ni's leg and said with a smile, It seems like you really are injured. You're quite something. You even dared to stab yourself in the leg to prove your innocence. Your testimony was also quite convincing to the inner hall master. However, there's one thing you don't know. A divine strategist will never be haunted by a demon in return. You said he went crazy and ran away? Madam Xi laughed loudly. Madam Xi slapped Zhinger hard across the face. How dare you lie to me with such a clumsy lie? Zhinger was knocked off the bed by the slap. Gao Zhuan was worried about the young master. Madam Xi looked at Zhinger being knocked away and continued to interrogate, saying, Tell me, what did you see and hear? Zhinger sat leaning against the statue by the window. His bandaged thigh was now covered in blood, dripping onto the floor. His mouth was also bleeding, but he was smiling. The others were shocked and didn't understand why Zhinger was laughing like that. Zhinger was now laughing even louder, laughing heartily. Madam Xi was extremely annoyed. Have you lost your mind? Zhinger laughed. Zhinger opened his eyes, full of danger, and called for the demon monk. The demon monk appeared right at the window. The demon monk rushed towards Madam Xi, passing through her. Madam Xi sensed something and said, Something just ran through me, didn't it? Behind her, a Xi manor maid was being choked and lifted into the air. Shifurin thought, What is going on here? Zheng approached from behind. He whispered into Shifurin's ear, That secret manual and seal are what you're looking for, aren't they? The maidservant, her neck squeezed tight, cried out incessantly. Those below frantically called out, Su Lian, Su Lian. Shifu glared at Jing and said, if that's the case, then how about you negotiate with me properly? Don't resort to such petty threats, okay? Shifu gritted her teeth. Zong one leg fine, the other covered in blood, said, I have no intention of vying for the Zhuang Master position before Mu Yinghao, whether you believe it or not. However, it's not just Mu Yinghao who wants to become Zhuang Master. Zhang face full of menace, said, You've treated me this way. Should I go find my 2 older brothers, or what? Shifu looked at the person before her, grinding her teeth, feeling incredibly annoyed. That matter, Zanger interrupted. I hear 5th brother is very skilled in martial arts, am I right? Right now, my relationship with you isn't so great. If you give me some hush money to smooth things over, wouldn't that be better? Madame Xi's face is beaded with sweat. Zheng Yi is making moves. Does she even realize who's holding the reins now? It's really cold. Look at that. She's shivering from the cold. Zheng Yi mocks Madame Xi, who's trembling with rage. The Huihua Hall, Madame Xi's residence, a roar echoes. Madame Xi smashes things, stomping and cursing. How dare he? How dare he? How dare he do that? Huo stands beside her, advising, Please, Madam, calm down. Madame Xi shouts, Calm down? You tell me to calm down. Are you serious? That bastard used threats. Can't you see that? Madame Xi rubs her face wearily. Annoyed, she thinks, Damn it! I let my guard down against the most useless one of all. I thought if he was scared, he'd tremble and beg. How did he suddenly change so much? Or rather, how is it that he looks like a completely different person? Impossible. Has he been hiding his true nature all this time? Come to think of it, he was relatively intelligent when he was little. However, after his mother passed away and his maternal family went bankrupt, he started becoming useless. Perhaps he was pretending back then to protect himself. No matter how weak he is, I shouldn't let my guard down like that, right? Huo speak up. I will definitely kill him for you, madam, before he uses any more strange, unorthodox arts. Shifu placed both hands on the table and declared, If the secret manual and seal fall into someone else's hands, it will be a huge problem, Huoyan replied. Then Shifu closed her eyes and continued, But I also don't want to be controlled by him like this. Shifu slowly opened her eyes. Order it to be announced to the spirit demon sect about the death of Fang Shimuo Shen. Yes. Huoyan was shocked. The spirit demon sect? He responded, Yes. That's Fang Shimuo Shen's sect, Mu Jingyun. I won't let you get your way. At midnight, in the medicine hall, a voice echoed, Yin Yang Zaben Shu, Zhu Zi Lue. After death, a person becomes a vengeful spirit. Then, the process of becoming a demon spirit depends on a number of conditions, which determine what kind of demon spirit it becomes. Shiling is just sitting here, reading 2 books from the grave god. Zheng Zhen flips through a page, pointing and studying intensely. The first level is Qiling, the red spirit. At this stage, it's still a mortal soul, and it can affect living creatures, causing them to get goosebumps or feel chills. The second level is Zhuling, the vermilion spirit. This fiend can possess others. It makes them feel heavy or so tired they can't move. The third level is Huangling, the yellow spirit. From this level on, it's extremely dangerous and needs to be exorcised from the possessed person's body. They say that at the Huangling level, it can fill you with murderous intent, and you'll slowly die. Zheng Nhi looks at the demon monk beside her. Have you figured it out yet? Zheng Nhi thinks. To be precise, isn't the demon monk already at the Huangling level? Zheng Yi's hand touches the medicine cabinets nearby. Wuliang, that's a rarely used medicine. Zheng Nhi recalls, just now, the demon monk could find the door to the basement. I wonder if he can go through this wall. Just now, the demon monk's power didn't work on the stone statue lady, who was standing in front of it, so it rushed straight to the servant behind. I tried to attack Kauton, and it still worked. Light emanated between the 2 medicine cabinets, and the 2 cabinets gradually separated. Qin Nhi walked in and he said, Is Tachpunan the #1 expert? Then it probably won't work on Cam's guards. Someone at the same level as her. Then Qin Nhi flipped through the book. Having a stronger monster spirit isn't bad, is it? In the book appeared a picture of 6. 01 vengeful souls that have existed for many decades. It can affect everything around it and cause hallucinations to other creatures. It is very dangerous, so there must be a definite control order. Chin NHI closed the book. Okay, that's it. Chin NHI took the lamp and went into the passageway that was open just now. Should I go now? Without looking for the seal or secret book, Chin NHI gradually stepped down. He assessed it to be very deep. He had this secret room built. So deep to hide the secrets and seals, Father? Now, I finally understand why those things are so valuable. No wonder they're trying every trick in the book to get them. I definitely won't let them fall into their hands. The demon monk's power is useless against the protector cam. I need something stronger to deal with him. A door up ahead? Is this the place? Zheng Ni reaches out to open it. Beneath the medicine hall, behind it, there are 4 doors. 4 stone doors, to be exact. Zheng Ni opens a stone door, assessing the situation. Maybe I need to go deeper inside. Zheng Ni looks around, wondering if going in is really necessary. His footsteps on a large square tile, and the stones above start to fall. There's a huge boulder hanging from a rope. It's falling right towards Zheng Ni. He quickly dodges. I didn't expect this place to be booby-trapped. There's a glimmering light ahead. Then 3 arrows shoot out. Next up, even more arrows. Zheng NHI reacted quickly, dodging everything. But one spear came straight for him. Zheng NHI raised the lamp to block it. The impact created a flash of light. Zheng NHI looked at the dart piercing the darkness and smirked. Next, a huge boulder came crashing down. I get it. Now it's really time to pay the piper. A secret chamber deep within a trap-filled cave. Zheng NHI dodged the counterattacks, constantly thinking, is that manual really worth so much? The dart struck the stone walls, sending splinters flying. Zheng NHI glanced behind him, pondering, or is there something else here? Even more valuable. Next came sharp iron objects falling from above. Got it. Zheng NHI easily overcame it, landing with one hand while holding the lamp in his mouth and adjusting his sleeve. Zheng NHI reached for the lamp he was holding, his eyes widening slightly in surprise. Made it! Ahead was a place that was very well decorated. Who knew a place made entirely of wood like this could be underground? Moreover, everything is very orderly. Zheng NHI walked forward. Everything was very neat. There are books, ink, and a brush. Zhenger guesses that someone's been here. Could someone be cultivating here? Well, who cares? Zhenger continues towards the center. There's a box right in front of me. Found it. Fuel Wood Sword and Fuel Wood Heart Sutra. Opening the box reveals 2 books. Zhenger mutters. As Gaozwan said, the secret manual is divided into 2 parts, swordplay and inner cultivation. Zhenger picks up both books and stuffs them into his clothes. I'll just take both. Zhenger wonders, but just for these 2 secret manuals, they had to build such a big room. How very strange. What's that over there? Zhenger sees another chest. It looks quite heavy and has no functions whatsoever. And there are some drag marks on the floor. Let's see, maybe there's something inside. Zhenger pulls the chest out. Knew it! Beneath it all, there's a wooden plank. Looks like a door sealed shut with talismans. And more talismans on the floor. Zheng NHI reaches out, opening a small wooden box. It's got talismans on it too, sealed with magic as well. A strange energy is radiating out. Zheng NHI removes the talisman. Maybe what he wanted to hide wasn't a secret manual after all. Suddenly, a nearby lamp flickers to life. Zheng Ni's startled. What's with the lamp? The lamp dies down into darkness. And in Zheng Ni's hands, the box is open. Inside the small wooden box is a book with a leather cover. So, not just any book then. It reeks of something nauseating, plus it has patterns. Is this made from human skin? Zheng NHI smirks wickedly at the strange book in her hands. Meanwhile, elsewhere, a sound echoes. Drums beating. The louder and more frantic, the better. People are having fun, laughing, and cheering. That's the way. Absolutely fabulous. All right, fantastic. So the newcomer who just spoke is none other than the 2 young masters, Mu and Ping. Mu and Ping opened the window, sighing endlessly. Excellent. So lively. Our Mujian manor looks much brighter today. Of course. It's because I'm getting closer to becoming the Manor Lord, Enping. He raised his wine cup, cheerfully saying, "Many thanks for coming to my side." Butler Gan stepped towards Enping. Butler Gan clasped his hands and said, "Butler Gan greets you, young master." He raised his wine cup. "Apologies for keeping you waiting. I was planning a more extravagant banquet for you here. However, Father still isn't feeling well." Butler Gan bowed, replying, "No need, sir. I am very grateful for the warm welcome, young master." He stepped forward, taking his hand and laughing. "Come now, let's go inside." The butler replied, "Yes, sir." A group of people carrying drums and stringed instruments entered as the young master stood, propping up his chin with a sinister look. "So, what you're implying is, you're saying Mu Jingyun has now lost all his martial arts?" Butler Gan, looking tense, recalled the past and then thought, "That's right. The real one is dead. The imposter now possesses no martial arts. That really wasn't a lie. However, I have no intention of revealing that Jingyun is now a fake. If everyone knew I failed to protect my master, I'd be in deep trouble. And that imposter knows the consequences too, which is why he dared to make demands of me." Then he replied, "Indeed," and thought further, "However, I won't let things go according to your wishes." Cam Guardian, with a stern face, spoke, "Young Master Mo Jingyun currently can't use any martial arts at all." Having said that, an idea flashed in his mind. "I'll offer your head to prove my loyalty to you, my second young master." The young master stood there, one hand behind his back, the other stroking his chin, and laughed. That fool was useless to begin with. Now he's lost his martial arts too? If he could defeat me, it would truly be absurd. "Thanks to you, Father, I learned some useful information. So should I be grateful to you?" "Ah, right. Can you tell me why he lost his martial arts?" "If it was your mistake, I'll let it slide. Everyone makes mistakes in this world. After all." Cam Guardian bowed and replied, "Please forgive me, but I can't tell you now, young master, because he knows if the truth comes out, he's toast." Still in that position, the guard hurriedly spoke so that the young master wouldn't misunderstand. "Don't worry, even if you don't know the reason, nothing will happen to your plan." The man sitting on the chair laughed happily and replied, Okay, I believe in you, Guard Cam, because you are Guard Cam. This is a former assassin from that place." As he spoke, the young master's expression gradually became more dangerous, and the guard also became tense, thinking to himself, This guy. Seeing that change in him, the young master spoke and asked, "What's wrong?" He thought to himself, "I thought he was still a child, but I didn't expect him to be so cunning." The young master suddenly moved close to the guard, revealing a probing, murderous aura. "Impossible. Could that matter be your secret?" He panicked, thinking to himself, "This guy has been watching me." Then quickly replied, "Reporting. It's not," muttering to himself that he had been too careless. He sat on the chair for a while, and then spoke. "If there's anything, I'll call you later. You can go now." As soon as he left, he quickly became suspicious. "He's still hiding something from me there's some kind of secret about." Ma Kin Van turned to his subordinates and ordered, "Go investigate and see what that guy is hiding. Seriously, has he lost his touch? If he's considered top tier, then he should be able to handle this, right?" Zhao Yi Chang asked back, "You just want to test him, is that it?" He turned back and replied, "Otherwise, it wouldn't be fun at all. Cripple one of his ankles for me." The other guy replied, "Understood." The scene shifts to a room where Zheng Yi is standing, reading a book. He thought to himself, "The feeling of pain from the human skin cover that I felt through my fingertips wasn't just my imagination. Yet paradoxically, this isn't even a living thing." His face changed, imagining. "This feeling is like the heartbeat of someone about to die. Why is something like this here? How intriguing. I want to take off the prayer beads right now to examine what's hidden inside." While he was looking, a flash of light appeared. He turned back, surprised, and exclaimed, "Mozeng!" Then asked, "What happened?" Seeing his terrified expression, he thought, "Mozeng, why this? Can't believe that devilish monk reacted like that. So there's definitely something hidden in this book. However, if that demonic monk came all the way from Cao Xuan's place to warn me, then someone must be approaching my room. That means there's an intruder." The moment he thought that, he looked up at the ceiling. Outside, a black-clad figure was zooming away, landing quickly on a branch. He was surprised to see Cao Xuan's guard. However, Cao Xuan was standing outside the room, yawning. He wondered, why is he just standing outside instead of protecting his master from his enemy? So that young master is really up to something shady, huh? He tiptoed to the window and peeked inside. surprised. Why is he just sleeping? Then why order Cao Xuan to stand guard outside? First, I gotta check inside for anything fishy, huh? This. As expected, there's a secret. How could this guy? Never mind that. With this, my master will gain the upper hand. My young master will be victorious. At that very moment, Zhang Yi was standing behind him. He grabbed the intruder's head and slammed it hard under the table, saying, "What are you doing in my bedroom, huh? Still not asleep at this hour?" The man in black is surprised. Huh? Is this guy pretending to be asleep? He continued, repeatedly slamming his head against the table, blood splattering everywhere. Then I'll help you sleep, okay? I'm too kind, right? He thought in a panic. He is so terrifying. A moment later, he woke up. She spoke up. "Oh, you're awake. That man in black is Zhao Yichang. He is hanging upside down from the beam," he exclaimed in panic. Huh? Where am I? Then he grabbed the knife and said to him, "Then tell me quickly." Cao Xuan walked in, looking flustered, and asked Zhao Yichang? Why is he here? Qi and Hi sat on the ground next to Zhao Yichang and asked, "Do you know him?" He replied, "He is Zhao Yichang, one of the 3 close bodyguards of the 2 young masters." He wondered, the 2 young masters? Then why did he break into my room? Cao Xuan stood to the side, resting his chin, and thought, I don't know either. But looking at the way he sneaks around, like that, he probably doesn't have good intentions. After hearing this, he immediately carried Triyunhat Thuong, saying, "Then we have to let him confess himself." He panicked and quickly stopped him. "What? You want to torture him? That cannot be done. It's better if you let him go. The 2 young masters are known to value talent. If something happens to your subordinate, then he won't let it go." Hearing that, Qin Nhi grabbed Cao Ton's hand. He cried out with a painful expression. Then he continued, "Then I will consider it." Cao Toan knelt on the ground, yelling, "No! Don't do that, young master." "It's too dangerous, young master, as a person of the 2 young masters. If I die, I won't know." After shouting, he just lay down on the ground. But then, thinking again, "But surely nothing will happen, although you act like a fool. But in reality, you're very clever, like at Mok Trang Chu's place. He won't kill him, right?" Triyunhat Thuong was tied to the floor, saying, "Untie me quickly." Zheng Nhi calmly replied, "Take it off." "Why?" He continued, "Why, you ask? You understand. I'm just following the orders of Gongzi Muenping. If you harm me, do you think you can keep your life? Don't do anything foolish. I'll speak well of you in front of the 2 Gongzis. That way, at least you can save your own skin," he thought to himself. "You're just trying to scare me into revealing the plan, right? You think you can frighten me?" Hearing that, he chuckled softly. "How interesting," the man exclaimed in surprise. What? What is it?" Zheng Nhi withdrew a knife from his hand, saying to him, "I bet the 2 Gongzis care a lot about their subordinates, even in this situation. That you still have so much faith in your 2 Gongzis. Fine, I'll untie you." Saying that, he approached the back of Zhao Yichang. Zhao Yichang, thinking he was about to be freed, said, "That's more like it. You're very smart. I'll speak well of you in front of them." Suddenly, blood splattered down in front of him. He shouted in surprise, "Ah!" Zheng Nhi suddenly sat down in front of him, holding a finger in his hand, and said, "But whose finger do you think this is?" He thinks he cut off his own finger? But why don't I feel anything at all? I can't move, nor can I sense any internal energy. As if divining the questions in his mind, Zheng Yi spoke up, "I've used Devil's Hand dissipation poison on you. I concocted it from a few herbs in the medicine hall. You'll lose all sensation from your neck down for a few hours." He, hunched over with both hands on the ground, cried out in a panic, "You!" The guy sitting below spoke up. "I have a few questions for you here. Every second that passes without an answer means another finger gone. First question, why did those 2 brothers send you to break into my room? Answer quickly!" Finishing, he raised the knife, his face dangerous. He panicked utterly, shouting, "Wait! Hold on!" He began to count. 1, still won't talk? Then don't blame me. As he spoke, he started counting while severing a finger. Blood splattered everywhere, even on his face. He cried out, "Damn it! Stop!" But he continued to count 3, 4. One could say his fear had reached its peak. He pleaded, begging, "Please, I beg you." Zheng Yi held the blood-stained knife up to his face, saying, "Next up is the thumb." He panicked. blurting out that Gongzi Muanping gave the order. He's investigating why you lost your martial arts. He thought to himself, the reason I lost my martial arts, huh? He must be telling the truth, he continued with the next question. But Kam Hui said that, did he? He replied, stammering and terrified. Yes, that's right. Hearing this, he then said, that old fox is wise, isn't he? He only told half the truth to save his own skin. The tied-up guy still had the presence of mind to think, how does he know Kam Hui betrayed him? How? Since when did this guy become so smart? Could it be that he suspected Kam Hui from the start? Or is Kam Hui someone he planted with the second young master? No. If that were the case, he wouldn't need to torture me like this. He turned to look at him, continuing, but I can't think of any more questions right now, so what now? He was sweating bullets, thinking, I'm so done for. Seeing Zheng Yi's terrifying expression, he hurriedly spoke. I swear I will be loyal to you. I didn't know you were this intelligent. You're perfect for the position of head butler. Please, just give me the chance to choose the right path. Head butler, please. I swear, I'd sacrifice my life for you. Please, spare me. I'll do anything for you. Please, I beg you, stand over there and answer truthfully. I have a job for you. Can I give you orders? He thought happily to himself. I'm saved. And replied, of course, sir, please give me your orders. As soon as he finished speaking, Zheng Yi plunged the knife in his hand straight into the guy's throat. Fresh blood splattered everywhere. Zheng Yi said softly, but you said you'd sacrifice your life for me, so lend me some blood, will you? In the last few seconds before death, the guy thought resentfully, you bastard! What the heck are you thinking? Why do I have to die? Zheng Yi held the book in his hand and said, you can't just brute force your way through this chain. I believe this is the seal mentioned in the Book of Yin-Yang Household. According to the book, this method is used to seal something evil using vital energy. So by using something impure to touch it, it could weaken its essence. The blood of Zhao Yicheng, who died unjustly, will be effective on it. I will pour that blood filled with resentment onto the book. Then, something unholy within it will take form. While saying that, he placed the book under Zhao Yicheng. Fresh blood poured torrentially onto that book. The prayer beads suddenly snapped violently. He said, now, let's see what comes out. Suddenly, a stream of fresh blood flowed violently from under his feet, splattering all over the room. Zheng Yi exclaimed in surprise. What? The book was stained with red blood. The blood splattered up. Zheng Yi looked in that direction. After that, the blood seemed to be transforming. A figure flew out from within the blood. Then, strands of blood splattered onto Zheng Yi's feet. A puddle of fresh blood. Zheng Yi's eyes widened in shock. A wisp of crimson cloth, adorned with butterflies, fluttered. That person, wearing a scarlet robe, approached Zheng Yi. That person walked slowly, their slender, white feet visible. A girl immersed in a sea of blood appeared before his eyes. A white-haired girl in a conical hat and crimson robes approached Zheng Nhi. Zheng Nhi stood aside, astonished, thinking to himself, a level 6 resentment spirit? Level 5 was mentioned in the Yin-Yang family's book. If Qing Qilong was a level 7, I figured a level 6 resentment spirit would show up. I didn't expect my luck to be this good. He was deep in thought. Suddenly, a stream of fresh blood wrapped around him, and the girl standing next to him cried, Idiot! Release your soul and offer your spirit to me. With that, she pulled out the hairpin from her hair and held it in her hand, looking arrogant. Just as Zheng Nh, I thought. The 5th level of the Qingling resentment spirit is an ancient soul filled with resentment. It has existed for many centuries. Its power is enough to cause a massive impact in a designated area. It creates illusions for the visual and auditory senses to harm its target. It needs to be eliminated. It's extremely dangerous. The hairpin in her hair is also a cigarette holder. She took a drag and looked at him, asking, Why haven't you released your soul yet? Are you that dazed? He collapsed to the ground, thinking to himself, looking smug. The books said they're extremely dangerous. I guess I finally understand why the books say that, he said with an amused smile. Qingling exclaimed in surprise, What? Zhenger's body drowns in a sea of blood. He continued, No matter how high the level of power the vengeful spirit has, you guys still crave another person's body. You found something interesting for me. Looks like your spirit can't do anything without a physical body, right? She calmly stood there, smoking. "If you crave my body so much, then why not just use your strength to take it?" As he spoke, a stream of blood shot out, tightening around his arm, sending him tumbling into the pool of blood. Qingling slowly approached, throwing a move. "Tusk, tusk, tusk. You foolish idiot, die! How dare you force my hand?" With that, a stream of blood shot out quickly and forcefully towards his face. Half of his face is now missing skin, leaving only a stream of blood flowing. He cried out, "Damn it!" Qingling, covered in blood, continued. "Now you see it, don't you? In the end, you're powerless. So you only have one way out. Offer your soul to me." He staggered, but still managed to stand, panting heavily. She seems even more surprised than before, thinking to herself, "Even though his skin is peeling and his face is scratched, he's still resisting me, huh?" She said, "Looks like you're not just any ordinary scoundrel. However, it's all the same. That human is quite something. I'll give you a bargain. If you're willing to offer me your soul, I will help. You fulfill one of your wishes." He asked, surprised, "My wish? Really? Why would you negotiate like that with me?" She floated closer to him, hovering in front of him, and replied, "Consider my offer." He continued to ask, "Consider," she continued, "if you continue to act rashly, your soul will be damaged. That won't benefit me at all." He lay collapsed on the ground and asked her, "What if I refuse?" She replied with a calm expression, "Then, simply, I will kill you and find another soul." Fresh blood continued to tighten around his neck, he said hesitantly. Her face, which had been calm, suddenly brightened radiantly. She shouted at him, "That's right, tell me, what's your wish? After seeing the resentment from the depths of your heart, I know you have lived a life that has not been smooth. Did someone betray you or kill the family you loved? Tell me quickly, no matter who it is, I will make them pay with their lives and make their souls scatter. Tell me your wish immediately. What is it?" Jin NHI remained calm with no sign of panic and replied, "My wish is, you shut your mouth and work for me." She angrily gritted her teeth and said with anger, "You're good. Try to taste my power, you foolish idiot." Then she launched a series of blood arrows towards him. She said to you are feeling pain every time your flesh is torn apart. It feels like your bones are breaking and your body has disintegrated, right? She continued, "I also feel a little humiliated for causing a little damage to your soul." He is sinking in fresh blood. A thought appeared in his head. This smell. It's even redder than the dew fruit. It's even messier and dirtier. The taste is so disgusting. Based on the feeling, touch, sight, and taste, everything shows that it is blood. However, this thing is different. How many times did I taste blood when I was known as the Lian Sha ghost? Does the taste of blood back then resemble this? I wonder, feeling the breath of life, that hot, wicked, and warm sensation inside means I'm still alive. However, what I'm feeling at this moment is death, and it's all an illusion. Just as she thought that, a strong beam of light appeared. It brightly illuminated the space, blasting the girl away. The fresh blood disappeared. He still stood calmly in front of her. Qingling stood there, utterly bewildered. As if not believing her eyes, she thought, "No, no way!" A blood butterfly appeared on Qingling's hand, flew in front of Zhang Yi, then vanished. She thought to herself, "Release sensation. Release feeling. There's a way to escape from illusions that are deceiving the five senses. That is, to deny perception. Hearing the theory and saying it aloud seems easy, but actually denying, to perceive reality. Even the first-rate practitioners find it difficult, so how could a child who isn't even a practitioner possibly? It's hard to believe my eyes. Has this guy had the qualities of a practitioner since birth?" Suddenly, Trin NHI laughed loudly. She asked in surprise, "How can you still laugh? Even though you've escaped the illusions I created, do you think you're capable enough to control the current situation?" An replied with a serious face, "I just thought of something interesting." She was stunned and said, "Interesting?" Suddenly she panicked and screamed, "You!" An held the book in his hand and thought in his head. According to the Yin-Yang family's book, the longer a vengeful spirit exists, the weirder it is. There is a place for them to reside. This book is it. After thinking, he used his mouth to tear apart the book's cover. Fresh blood of Thenlin splattered, and she cried out in pain. An smugly thought, "As expected, I was right." She angrily wiped the blood from the corner of her mouth and said, "You bastard! How dare you? How could anyone ever destroy that book full of demonic energy? That's why the top-notch sorcerer sealed it away." "How could he?" she screamed at him. "You've really ticked me off." With that, she lunged forward, squeezing Zheng Yi's neck and throwing him to the ground. Pressing her face close, she yelled, "Go on. Tell me this is just an illusion if you dare. I don't need your soul anymore. Just die." "You refuse to drink the offered wine, so you want to drink the penalty wine instead. Now let your soul dissipate and go greet King Yama." He lay on the ground, bits of paper still in his mouth, and chuckled. "How strange. You could have taken the Book of Ra back from me, yet you didn't do it. Just as I thought. You can't touch this book, can you?" Her face changed color instantly, and he smugly continued. At that, she furiously tightened her grip on his throat, yelling, "How dare you throw it? Pick it up! Pick it up for me now!" He remained on the ground, calmly thinking, "The blood that pierced my body earlier is invading my entire being. The blood is flowing backward, destroying my body." Her expression grew even more horrified as she shouted at him, "Spit it out! Now!" I kept thinking to myself, this agonizing, shattering feeling is just like the first time I ate poison herbs. But what makes this pain even more horrific is the fury of this vengeful spirit. Her resentment towards someone is as sky-high and desperate as mine. I can clearly feel her intense desire for revenge. The more she sees his calm face, the angrier she becomes, screaming, "You damned mad dog!" As she yelled, she pushed even harder, and Zheng Yi immediately spat out blood. Suddenly, the space shifted to another place. Zheng Yi was standing in the middle of a sea of blood and corpses. He exclaimed in surprise, "This place is a wasteland full of corpses." In the distance, Qing Ling was kneeling on the ground, holding a sword. He recognized that figure, thinking to himself, "That's Qing Ling!" Her face was exhausted, and her hands tightly gripped the sword. Her whole body was stained with fresh blood, but those eyes were still extremely determined. She stood up, tore her sleeve, wrapped it tightly around her hand with the sword, and advanced towards the one seated above. She said something, but Zheng Yi couldn't understand it. He thought to himself, "Although I can't hear what she's saying, I can feel it." The utmost anger from her. The one sitting above had long white hair and antlers. Granny Lao rushed toward him, but with one punch, he crushed her chest, ripping her heart out. Her corpse slammed to the ground, motionless, as a horde of his minions, knives in hand, approached her body, each hacking fiercely at her remains. Her corpse swiftly became 100 fragments, leaving only her white hair and sword. Along with a book, he suddenly awoke, a thread clinging to him and Qing Ling. Qing Ling was so surprised she almost screamed, "Am I a Shikigami now?" "Kid, finish this quickly now." Then Granny Lao rushed to choke Zheng Yi. However, her neck was simultaneously constricted. She hastily released her grip, gasping for breath, shouting, "Cease! Cease!" He stood there, touching his throat, thinking to himself, "Looks like a Shikigami, and its master share a common sensation of pain. So what about the demon monk? During that incident just now, it felt like I died and came back to life. The demon monk didn't look any better at the time. He said to Granny Lao, "Seems we're bound together now, so let's help each other out, shall we? My name is Mu Jing Yun. What about you? What should I call you?" She sat on the chair, puffing on a cigarette, responding indifferently. "Call me whatever you want," I answered calmly. So Hong Lu Jia Chong means a stag beetle. She turned around furiously and yelled, "Hey, do you want to die?" I laughed. "Seems like you really don't like that name, huh?" She was mad, but didn't know what to do. She just yelled, "How dare you make fun of me?" I continued with the original topic. "If you don't like it, then tell me your name." But the answer was still the same. She sat with her legs crossed on the chair, turning her face to the side, saying, "Why should I tell my name to a mere mortal like you?" Right, I thought, and had to figure it out myself. Well, there's no other way. I'll just have to find a suitable name for you then. Then, I pondered in my head, this resentful spirit's level is Qing Ling, so I'll just name her Qing Ling. I said to her, "I will call you Qing Ling." She still had that indifferent look. I stood to one side, sighing to myself. So arrogant. However, I can't just use force to subdue her. I didn't get her with force anyway, so I'll have to persuade her gradually. Zheng Ni held the book in his hand and asked her curiously, "By the way, Qing Ling, do you know what's inside this person's book?" She refused to answer me, instead replying, "Qing Ling, who in the world is that? I have no clue, none whatsoever." "Don't bother me. I'm swamped, so stop yapping at me. He flipped through the book when he suddenly thought, these characters, they're written in blood. The cover is made of skin, while the writing is blood. Who knows who created it, but how very intriguing. But here, it's all utter nonsense. What on earth do they actually mean, I wonder? He rested his chin on his hand, lost in thought. Qingling sat to one side, smugly watching him, which he found annoying. He thought to himself, it seems she doesn't want me to know. Staring at me like that? Wanting me to figure it out myself? Is that what she means? Suddenly, he blurted out, I am utterly desperate, forced to rely on the mind of another. Before fading into nothingness, I must seize that body. It seems impossible. Evil always thwarts good deeds. However, extreme blood possesses the power to reverse all things. Qingling whirled around in surprise, exclaiming, Huh? Zhenger shouted, The book is stuck to my hand! Qingling cried out in a panic. No way! How did you manage that? Even I'm surprised. What's going on? What did I do? Must have been the book. Where did this black aura even come from? This is bad, she thinks in a panic. She yells at Zheng Yi, Kid, hold your breath, quick, empty your mind. Don't think about anything. He immediately obeys her words, and the book falls from his grasp. Qingling is surprised, thinking, so fast, huh? He solved that ritual already? Someone who doesn't know martial arts could actually do something like that? Even stranger is that he figured out the incantation for that ritual. Only after death can you see the things that the living cannot. Zheng Yi collapses into a chair, saying, Suddenly, I felt suffocated, like I was about to die. Why, it's that. She replies, Because you didn't perform the ritual correctly. You breathed the wrong way. He laughs. Are you explaining this to me now? She comes to her senses and shouts furiously. I'm only saying this so that a fool like you doesn't drag me down with you. He laughs and quickly replies, Okay. He then asks, So what exactly is that ritual? Qingling, the explanation is, in its name, when you absorb something, it sticks to you. You can control something with your will. He wondered aloud, Absorb something to me, huh? Well, why does my stomach hurt and my blood vessels are constricting? She replied, That's because you tried to absorb something. However, besides the book, there's nothing there. You controlled the airflow but didn't absorb anything. So the airflow became chaotic. Now, try to absorb that thing. Then, she pointed her finger at Zhao Yicheng. He asked, This guy? She said, That's right. Absorb the qi from his Dantian point. His qi will be released since he's already dead. Zheng Yi pulled his body closer, asking her, The Dantian is below the navel then? She, with a look of disdain, added, You still have to ask me that? He responded, Okay. Qingling gestured, guiding him. Now, repeat the incantation from earlier. He started to sit down, placed his hand on his Dantian, and thought, I'm drowning in hopelessness, having to depend on the mind of another. Before dissolving into nothingness, I must seize that body. That's like totally impossible. Demons always ruin all the good stuff, though extreme blood has the power to reverse everything. Suddenly, a purple aura appeared. He thought to himself, This is the warmth that's flowing through my veins into the palm of my hand. Then it circled around his Dantian. She stood to the side and spoke. You can absorb anything, and she is no exception. Now, do you feel it? The way the ritual waterfall works? Qingling spoke up. That's the right way to perform the ritual waterfall. He remained seated, sensing it. A wave of heat was surrounding his stomach. This is the qi that Cao Zuan mentioned. How come? According to Cao Zuan, it takes a long time to gather qi. Now, I can absorb other people's internal qi into my own body. In other words, it won't be long before I become stronger. He was bursting with energy when suddenly it dissipated. He asked her, Why did it all vanish? She replied, Of course, because that's the nature of qi. Therefore, you need to use a special method to condense the qi. Otherwise, it won't be able to gather in your Dantian. That special method only works for this type of true qi, so it won't cause your true qi to scatter and mix with other energies. Or, to be precise, the Tuo Yi ritual can't help you gather qi in your Dantian. Tisk, Seventh Bro said, hands on his hips. And here I thought I'd found a shortcut. She laughed, replying, You think becoming a martial arts master is as easy as eating congee? However, don't be too disappointed. If you can use the Tuoyi ritual, there will be some great benefits as well. He asked her, like what? Qingling thought to herself, the first form is also the foundation of the Tuoyi ritual, Po-zi Ba-shi. If he can master it, he will gain limitless possibilities. She continued, even though it is dissipated everywhere, Chai is still Qi. Now, try using your hand and circulating Qi. He looked dumbfounded, asking, circulate Qi how? She sighed, saying, fine, then try to imagine and visualize it. Imagine? He asked again. She explained, circulating Qi is like painting a picture in your mind. And in this way, you can also bring Qi into the palm of your hand. She finished speaking, then pondered in her mind. It's easy to say, but I know he can't actually pull this off. A newbie who's never practiced martial arts before, how could he possibly manage it? Wasting all that Qi he just absorbed a moment ago. It's a shame, really. Though there's nothing to be done. However, contrary to what she thought, a wave of energy surged, heading toward Xingni. She exclaimed in surprise. Ah! Zheng Ni threw a punch, slamming into the wall, shattering it to pieces. She stood to the side, utterly bewildered. This is truly absurd. How could someone as blank and pure as him pull this off? It's this kid! Zheng Ni, having just unleashed the move, exclaimed. That feels amazing. She remained standing there, stunned. Just what exactly is he? I've encountered countless naturally gifted martial artists. However, I've never seen anyone with such incredible potential. He stood by the wall, saying, I could break through the whole wall now. While she thought, just where did he come from? Showing off the move he just pulled off, he declared smugly. So this is why everyone in the world all wants to hone their martial arts skills. With martial arts prowess, killing becomes as easy as pie. Master Qingling, hearing that, realized something. Thinking in her head, he has glimpsed the truth through the very essence of martial arts. People say practicing martial arts means cultivating the mind, nourishing the spirit. What baloney! The crux of martial arts is still just figuring out how to kill the opponent in the quickest, most efficient way possible. Zheng Nhi continued asking, so what is the second move? She was in the mood to answer. That is... Then she realized she was being too accommodating. She exclaimed, huh? I've been seduced by you, brat. Then isn't that the same as me helping you? Damn it, she thought, because he always does what I say. Then keeps asking, so I accidentally revealed too much. Now I understand why the minds of those old masters are always obsessed with teaching martial arts to their disciples. She turned away abruptly. Zheng Nhi continued to ask. Master Qingling shouted back, don't talk to me, he thought regretfully. Only that much, huh? Too bad. I still had so many things I wanted to ask that young lady. She said that sooner or later, the qi would all dissipate anyway. So what is this bit of cold qi lingering on my hand? Should I ask her about it? Nah, forget it. Even if I asked, I wouldn't get any answers anyway. Figuring things out myself is more fun. After thinking it over, he said, Qingling, let's get out of here. The scene shifts to a multi-story gloomy house. That's the Guiling Manor. A guy with a red cloth wrapped around his head is standing in front. This is the guard of Madame Shi Huoin. She steps inside. As the gate opens, a series of terrifying statues appear before her eyes, and all sorts of items with charms attached to them. Most impressive is a huge skeletal statue standing in the middle. She stands there, thinking quietly. Wooden walls. Why does this room contain such terrifying carvings? She speaks up. I'm sure after the letter and corpse were delivered here. You guys already know what happened, right? Necromancer Mu Shen. Your master was killed by the third young master of Ranmu Sword Manor. Has assassinated Mu Jing Yun. 300 taels of silver the Fi Shi Furen sent you. If you succeed in her commission, there will be more than 400 taels. This commission is to eliminate the 3 young masters. Will you accept this commission? She spoke, then placed the silver taels below the candle. The candle suddenly went out, and she thought to herself, that's it then. She bowed and replied, many thanks. Exiting that room, she thought, damn it, even though there's no one here, I feel like hundreds of eyes are watching me. How strange and terrifying. If not for that commission, there's no way I would have set foot in here. Turning back into the room, Jiang's corpse lay beneath the statue. Many voices echoed from the statues, drawing closer to the corpse. Confirmed! He is the one who assassinated our master. Indeed, that brat commanded a subordinate hidden in the air. It is a yellow spirit-level vengeful spirit. The name of the 3 young masters is the master of that vengeful spirit. It's possible that vengeful spirit is his shikigami. Impossible. It could be a demon beast, a benevolent spirit, or a monster, perhaps. No way. A vengeful spirit can never become a shikigami. But if that's the case, wouldn't that mean this guy is very dangerous? The voice of the one who seemed to be the leader concluded, "Among you must be one who will eliminate the 3 young masters of the Ranmu Sword Manor to appease the soul of Lord Mushen." The group answered in unison, "Understood!" Dawn breaks in Zhang Ni's room. Cao Xuan yawns incessantly, cursing. "That brat! I had to stand guard all night. I only just dozed off for a bit, yet he's already ordering me around again." Entering the room, Zhang Ni, fully dressed, says, "I've brought the furnace, sir." He replies, "Excellent." Cao Xuan thought to himself, "Look at him, clearly tormenting me while acting all polite." He asked him suspiciously, "However, why does my lord need this furnace?" He held the book in his hand and said, "I need to burn some things." Cao Xuan panicked. "Burn? Don't tell me you're burning them," he answered in a light tone. "That's right, the secret manuals of the Ranmu Sword Manor?" Cao Xuan's face paled, exclaiming, "Why? Why are you doing this, my lord?" Zhang Ni stands by the furnace, tearing page after page into the fire. Cao Xuan screams inwardly, "This madman!" He really burned those 2 secret manuals. Hao Tuan looked at him in a panic and shouted, "What are you going to do?" Chen's face was extremely calm. He almost cried without making a sound. "Don't, young master. Why did you burn them? You don't know martial arts, but you will definitely use it. There are so many people who covet that secret manual. We can take advantage of it." Chin threw the book in Cao Tuan's face. "That's why I burned them." Cao Tuan was still dazed. "What?" He calmly said, "Only I can use those 2 secret manuals." He was surprised. "Only you can use them?" He pointed to his head, then winked. "It's here." "It's all in here." He said it to this extent, but Cao Tuan still didn't understand. He was so confused by him that he was sweating profusely. He still didn't understand what his master was saying. He slowly explained, "Cao Tuan, your job is before dawn. I have to hand it over to Madam Shi and the 2 young masters. He still doesn't get what's going on, yet you just love being all secretive." You asked, "Didn't Cao Tuan just say that many people were craving it?" Seeing the blazing fire, "I want this Jia manor to be harmonious and peaceful, so we'll share it with everyone. Wouldn't that be much better?" Speaking of which, his face suddenly revealed a fierce look. Zhu Quan looked at him, momentarily shocked. The sun rose quickly. The sun slowly emerged from behind the clouds. A man was diligently working and pondering. "Every morning I wake up, make my bed, and change my clothes. Then I clean up the surroundings. I review the to-do list for the day. These are habits formed since I was an assassin. Everything must follow protocol and be carefully planned. But before long, I won't have to live like this anymore." He leisurely poured himself a cup of hot tea, slowly calculating. "If I shift my focus to the 2 young masters, it won't be long before I secure the position of Manor Lord. Just yesterday, I was an orphan doing everything myself. Now, my life is about to turn a new page. How exciting." As I was pondering, a guard ran in to report. "Reporting. Yun Pinggongzi is looking for you." Hearing this name, Guard Gan had a premonition of something bad, didn't he? Cut to Yun Ping's courtyard. A loud noise shattered the peaceful atmosphere. Gan, the guard, stormed out of the room, blazing with anger. In his head, he couldn't help but curse. "Damn it! Damn it! Damn it all!" Guard Gan's head. Didn't know why, but it was now covered in blood. Recalling what happened just now, when he had just arrived, he received bad news. That Zhao Yichang has disappeared. Guard Gan was surprised. "What? Yunping, you recounted that I sent Zhao Guard to investigate that San Gongzi to confirm whether he really lost his martial arts or not. He disappeared? Yet no one even knows? Not even a ghost noticed." He Sasen asked Gargan fiercely, "How dare you deceive me?" Hearing this, Gargan immediately sensed something fishy was happening here. "Hurry up and explain yourself, I dare you. I, your humble servant, would never deceive you, not even a little bit. There's definitely something fishy going on." Of course, Lord Yinping wouldn't give him a chance to explain, not even a single word. He violently threw his inkstone at Cam's head. Then he screamed, "Then shut up! Yinping has lost it completely. Why hasn't Zhao Yichang returned yet? Do you think I'm an idiot? Cam gritted his teeth, enduring the pain. Why did everything have to go so wrong? Damn it. At this rate, my last resort will fall apart. Unacceptable. I can't accept this. All the effort I've put in up until now can't just go down the drain. I absolutely cannot lose everything like this. Then Cam spoke up. Please, sir, give me some time. I will bring Zhao Yichang back to prove that I didn't deceive you. Yinping sneered. You still expect me to believe you? Cam shouted loudly. I swear on my life as a martial artist, and I'll wager my right arm. Looks like he's your last hope for a promotion. It seems Yinping was swayed by his determination. He stared intently at the Cam Ho. For a long while he said nothing. Finally, he agreed to give Cam Ho Wei a chance to prove himself. Fine, then prove it, Anbin yelled. This time I'll give you a chance. If you can find Zhao Yichang, I will trust you. Otherwise I'll take your head. Not just a right arm. He suppressed the pain, blood still streaming down his head. He respectfully looked at Anbin. Yes, sir! Cam Ho Wei angrily stormed out of the manor. Thinking about it, ever since that impostor showed up, nothing has gone according to my plan. He angrily wiped the blood from his head with a towel. If he really has some ulterior motive, then I definitely won't let him off easily. Having thought that, Cam Ho Wei vented his anger on the towel he'd just used to wipe his wound. He violently threw it away. From afar, he already saw Cao Tuan's figure lurking, heading towards him. His face looked a bit dazed, probably from lack of sleep. Cam Ho Wei angrily yelled, You! He violently squeezed his neck. Suddenly being attacked like that, Cao Tuan didn't have time to react. Cao Tuan, terrified, cried out, Senior brother! Guardgon! Guardgon roared. Didn't I tell you, not even for a second, are you to take your eyes off him? Are you disregarding my orders? Cao Tuan stammered. How could that be? Guardgan interrogated. Then why are you standing here now? You've conspired with him, haven't you? Cao Tuan was momentarily frightened. His words were somewhat hesitant. Cons? Conspired with who? Suddenly, a book popped out of Cao Tuan's pocket. Guardgan questioned, snatching it. What's this? Cao Tuan, alarmed, wanted to stop him, but didn't know how to answer, only stammering, Wait, senior brother, that is... Guardgan stared at what he was holding in his hand, momentarily stunned. He just stood there, dumbfounded, looking at the book he had just taken out. With great difficulty, he could only take a breath and utter a word. You... Finally, the anger in Guardgan's heart seemed to have reached its peak. He roared, What have you been doing all this time? Cao Tuan fearfully looked towards Guardgan. He wouldn't know how to explain this plausibly. Anyone could guess what happened next. This time, Cao Tuan is more than likely doomed. Quickly, Hu Wei Kam returned to the manor, and even the servants there took notice. Everyone seemed a bit wary. Hu Wei Kam was silent, saying nothing. His footsteps were hurried. Behind him, a pair of legs were being dragged across the ground. Those clothes look familiar. It's Cao Tuan. He's been beaten unconscious. Hu Wei Kam is dragging him roughly on the ground. As soon as he arrived, he kicked the door open. Zheng was still silently reading. Hu Wei Kam didn't say a word, just threw Cao Tuan down hard. His face was now filled with murderous intent. Hearing the loud crash, he turned his head curiously to look. Cao Tuan had long since passed out. His face was covered in blood. He looked like he'd just taken a severe beating. He smiled. A bright smile bloomed on his lips as he calmly watched him, welcoming him. Hu Wei Kam, seeing his expression, only felt his blood boil even more. Hu Wei Kam's eyes could seemingly kill at this moment. He didn't say much, just glared menacingly. Explain yourself! In his mind, Protector Gan cursed silently. Damn it! He felt looking at him was already making him feel filthy. Dirty, are you kidding? Playing innocent? What's there to explain? Protector Gan slammed the door shut. I don't have time to watch your act. He felt an indescribable unease gnawing at him. That feeling of dread lingered, damn it all, yet still tolerated. From the beginning, how did I instruct you? Before he finished speaking, he violently slammed him against the wall. His hand tightened around Zheng's neck. A voice as cold as hell echoed, If you do anything stupid, I'll eliminate you. Zheng looked at Protector Gan with a defiant expression. Did you say that? Why don't I remember? His shameless attitude infuriated Protector Gan. You beast! He roared. Where are the two young masters, guards? Zhang remained calm. Who are you talking about? Protector Gan's entire body trembled. Don't play dumb! There's no way you haven't touched him. Zhang remained composed. What am I so strong that I can even touch someone? He suddenly understood. I knew it! That's why I felt so uneasy. He still maintains that composed facade. Tell me, old man, am I wrong? His face quickly twisted into a devilish grin. I'm the third young master, stripped of my martial arts. How could I possibly murder him then? Didn't you say something along those lines? You said the third young master. From this moment on, can no longer use martial arts, remember? Martial artists are notoriously short-tempered. Bodyguard Gan is practically losing it. He's the one who killed Zhao Yichang. He knows that, but he can't expose him right now. Damn it! Bodyguard Gan curses inwardly. Seeing his reaction, he bursts into laughter. What are you going to do, Bodyguard Gan? You're the one who made me an imposter. And this very imposter, that's me, I say, killed the second young master's bodyguard. Back and forth they go. He's testing Gan's patience. Bodyguard Gan is practically losing his mind. His room is quickly becoming a disaster area, thanks to the scuffle. The Gan protector wearily collapsed to his knees, knowing full well that at this moment, the man couldn't kill him. After he had gradually calmed down, he helplessly hung his head. 3 years. He continued. I was born an orphan and raised in an assassin's camp. Then I left that place, saved up some money, and finally came to Ranmu Sword Manor. For the past 3 years, I have endured and taken on all matters, big and small. The two Gan protector was so saddened that his whole body trembled. It seemed he was trying to stop himself from crying. Those were 3 years of risking my life. But you ruined everything. Killing the third young master wasn't enough. Now you've even eliminated the subordinates of the second young master. So I'm forced to kill you. Or else I won't have peace here. 1 is to kill you. 2 is to leave this place. There's no other choice. Suddenly, the Gan protector's eyes froze. It seemed that he was thinking of something. He was not reconciled to such an ending, and shouted loudly, but Zhao Yichang is dead anyway. He can't be revived, But I can offer something else in exchange with you 2 young masters. Gan Hu Wei felt like he'd grasped a life-saving straw. He presented the book he'd taken from Gao Xuan. How did you get this? But you still have the rest of the manual, right? Right! Gan Hu Wei's face twisted evilly as he mused. Once I have both manuals complete, I won't need to keep you alive anymore. Then he couldn't help but yell, Spit it out, quickly! He replied calmly. I'm not so sure. Gan Hu Wei roared. You're still playing coy at a time like this. If you don't reveal it, I'll slit your throat and leave. However, if you hand over both manuals, I might reconsider. If you keep your mouth shut, I'll torture you until you die. So be smart and hand it over while I'm still patient. He feigned helplessness, he sighed heavily. All right, I'll give it to you. Gan Hu Wei seemed to believe him. He lowered his hand, thinking to himself, no matter how stubborn you are, once you're staring death in the face, you'll have no other choice. Excellent. You should have said that sooner, you clever thing. Now, hand it over. Seems like Protector Cam is itching to get his hands on this treasure. However, he just stared silently. Zhang placed his hand on Protector Cam's hand, much to the latter's bewilderment. Protector Cam fumed. What do you think you're doing? Zhang replied nonchalantly. What does it look like? I'm giving you the secret manual. He grinned deviously at him. It's all up here. Protector Cam was utterly shocked and bewildered, momentarily speechless. You! He cut him off. Oh, and one more thing. Before he could finish, Zhang viciously squeezed Protector Cam's hand. The smile never left his face. Zhang said calmly, Thank you very much, Protector Cam. He watched as Protector Cam's inner force seemed to be gradually drained away. Protector Cam was flustered, unsure of how to react. He simply felt, my true chi is gradually drying up. You think you're funny, but where would I even find someone to test this on? I never thought you'd volunteered to be my guinea pig. I wonder where I should. Hide your body. The Gan protector looked at the person before him horrified and yelled, You scoundrel! Release me! The thorn finger in the Gan protector's hand quickly and viciously stabbed straight towards Zhang. Fresh blood splattered, but it seemed as though Zhang didn't care about the issue at all. Zhang's face remained unchanged. His cold eyes stared at the Gan protector as if he were looking at a dead man. The Gan protector noticed the cold look in Zheng's eyes as he looked at him. He panicked and yelled, "You bastard!" The Gan protector was terrified. He looked towards the hand that was constantly absorbing his true chi. Then he fiercely kicked towards Zheng, sending him flying. Zheng scrambled to his feet while the Gan protector, after all that, was so scared that his breathing became erratic. He could feel his hand trembling, without any strength at all. The Gan protector thought to himself, "I can't feel even a trace of true chi in my hand anymore. He absorbed my true chi." Zheng slowly stood up, grinning mischievously. "This is my first time experiencing this. But that's not enough. There's no other choice left. I have to find another way to eliminate you." As he said this, his expression became extremely sinister and ferocious. He looked at Protector Cam like he was looking at a delicious snack. Protector Cam, sweating profusely, gritted his teeth and asked loudly, "You're saying you performed some kind of ritual?" Then he almost roared, "You dare kill me? You think you can win against me, huh?" As soon as he finished speaking, Protector Cam, holding his finger gesture, fiercely rushed towards him. It seems like today, both of them want to take the other's life. "Protector Cam, go to hell!" he yelled in rage. Suddenly, Zheng's eyes lit up, and he grinned mischievously, muttering the words, "Devil amplification." Then, very quickly, he blocked Protector Cam's surprise attack. Protector Cam's eyes widened in panic. He blocked it? How could this be? To resolve his confusion, he asked him, "Hey, brat, what kind of sorcery did you use?" Zheng looked at him. You're almost right. I'll show you what that is." The moment he finished speaking, a figure gradually manifested behind him. This face caused Protector Cam to be utterly terrified. At this point, he was so scared that his face turned green, and he stammered, What is this thing?" He looked at Protector Cam, who was trembling before him. "I'll return it to you. This knife, along with the amount of inner energy from just now." He paused for a moment, the smile on his face becoming even more blinding. "Because they belong to you." Just as he finished speaking, the sharp knife, that quickly stabbed right into Guardcam's chest, making him stagger. In just a flash, Guardcam's fresh blood quickly splattered all over the ground. He coughed a few times with difficulty. Guardcam secretly calculated about him. He was wrong. The spot he stabbed wasn't a vital area. If I draw the knife incorrectly, I could hemorrhage. That guy. He drained all my inner energy, and furthermore, he's exploiting that power to attack. Ugh, those chores. Seriously, ticking me off. Why did I bring such a dangerous guy here of all people? Hold on a sec, I wonder what he's thinking, shouting at him like that. "Hey, Kia, have you forgotten that you already ate my poison pill?" He finally became a little smug. Isn't that precisely the secret weapon for cases like these? Contrary to Kemho's thoughts, he was, on the contrary, suspiciously calm. Arrogantly looking at him, he asked, "So what? Go on." Kemho didn't understand, and smugly said, "Is that all?" After that, he continued, "Let's make a deal." He wondered and asked again. "A deal?" he quickly answered. "That's right. If you and I continue to fight like this, then we will both be harmed. Now, I'll give you the antidote and some money. Anyway, isn't your goal just to escape from this place?" He contentedly thought, "Surely at this moment you must bow your head. Your life is still more important than killing me, right?" Suddenly, saying this, blood from his mouth uncontrollably spurted out, causing Kemho to startle. Finally, he couldn't help but slump to the ground, vomiting a lot of blood. His gaze remained calm as he looked at him, as if he knew this ending all along. Cam the Protector looked at the blood on his hand in fear. What is this? I've been circulating my chi, so why is my body? At this moment, the word poison flashed in Cam the Protector's mind. His breathing became ragged and labored. Zheng calmly said, "What's wrong? The wound isn't even that deep. Why do you look like you're in so much pain?" Cam the Protector was now certain. You dare! What have you done? You poisoned me?" Zheng walked over to open the window. "Nothing much. Just that when you stabbed me with that knife earlier. A lot of my blood got on it, that's all." Cam the Protector still didn't understand. You're talking nonsense." Zheng turned to look at him. "My blood is also a type of deadly poison, you see," he slowly explained. "Shanglu mushrooms, Wudang, Angelica dahurica, Euchomia ulmoides, Angelica sinensis, Rehmannia glutinosa, Pinelia ternata. Do you know them? They are all ingredients for concocting poison. Perhaps because I've consumed so many poisonous plants since childhood, My blood has gradually accumulated toxicity. Speaking of which, Kyu slowly moved closer to Ganhu-wei. Do you understand what that means? His voice became gloomy and cold, although you don't really need to, do you? Antidote, huh? Seeing the young man before him, as if he'd transformed into another person. Ganhu-wei felt a bit uneasy. I'm done for, he thought, and Chiu continued. What's wrong? Why are you trembling like that? Are you cold because I opened the window? I thought your whole body was burning up because the poison's getting to you. Opening the window will help cool you down. Because, in principle, if your body temperature is low, the poison will spread more slowly, and you might live a little longer, you see. At this moment, Ganhu-wei finally realized the danger he was in with Kyu. He trembled, raising his hand. Please, Your Excellency, please save me. No, please. I beg you, Your Excellency. Please, save me. I swear I will be absolutely loyal to you. I'll become your dog. If you want, I'll lick your feet. I'll crawl on the ground. Whatever you want, I'll do it. I beg you, please. I beg you, please save my life. The hands of Ganhu-wei desperately clutched at Zheng's robe, his voice utterly miserable. Please, he pleaded. Zheng looked at him, feigning satisfaction. This attitude of yours, it pleases me. Wouldn't it have been better this way from the start? If you maintain this attitude, we can cooperate smoothly in all matters. Hearing this, Ganhu-wei felt as though he'd been given an antidote. He happily laughed through his tears, but a sinister smile bloomed on Zheng's lips. His face suddenly darkened. If only from the very beginning you treated me this way. Immediately, Zheng ruthlessly thrust the dagger deeper into Ganhu-wei's chest. This caused him to panic momentarily. What? Zheng didn't blink. A person as cunning as you could even utter the two words, loyalty? He glared at Ganhu-wei, his grip tightening. You'd be better off just dying. Ganhu-wei's resentful eyes stared at him, bulging as if about to explode. Zheng quickly pressed him to the ground. Looks like you don't want that treacherous human to live any longer. He's trembling, yet utterly devoid of any strength to resist, because the toxin seems to have already infiltrated the 6 viscera and 5 organs of his body. Just a little while later, Ganhu is completely motionless on the ground, no longer breathing, scheming his whole life. Yet his death looks utterly unsightly. Zheng's facial muscles finally relaxed a bit. He wearily exhales. He stands up and stretches his limbs, still a bit sore. Because of that guy, he turned my new clothes into tattered rags like this. However, I dealt with him sooner than expected. Should I call that luck? Because he knew my identity, he probably would have planned to eliminate me soon enough, someday. Suddenly, he remembers there's still someone else here, and glances over at Cao Zhuan, lying motionless on the ground. Zheng's eyes turn wicked. Should I just kill Cao Zhuan, the guard, too? Finally, after some deliberation, he says to himself, no need, looks like he can keep his mouth shut, so I'll spare his life. After all, he's still useful. Zheng walked closer to Cao Quan, speaking loudly. If you heard me, hurry and wake up, he startled, sitting up straight. Yes, yes! Cao Quan couldn't help but wonder. How did you know I wasn't dead? Zheng replied, how could I not? Throughout the entire battle, you kept inching away little by little, as if afraid we'd step on you. He blankly realized, so that's it. Zheng smiled with satisfaction. You're also tight-lipped. I commend you. You're starting to please me. Cao Quan scratched his head. Thank you, sir. Then Zheng ordered, now, get out there and find a way to keep everyone away from this place. I will deal with the corpse of Protector Cam. Cao Quan scrambled off like a startled rabbit. Yes, your command. Immediately after, Zheng gazed at the bloodied corpse, lying motionless on the ground. Let's begin, shall we? He placed his hand on Protector Cam's dantian. Following the method Qingling had instructed, a surge of abundant internal energy quickly flowed into his body. He's really thinking hard. This feeling, it's his internal energy. So warm. Yet that's not what I need to confirm. What I sensed in the medicine hall's basement was an extremely chilling aura. My guess is that's death energy, the feeling of killing someone. My hand is still continuously absorbing Protector Gan's inner force. Little by little, he's gradually being drained. Suddenly, I finally found what I was looking for. There it is. This very aura, a chilling and terrifying aura. It's accumulating in my dantian. This chilling sensation is so scary. This is the aura that I always felt when carrying out massacres back when I was the Liansha ghost. To accumulate more of this death energy, I have to go out and kill even more people. Qingling has been watching this scene from afar, from beginning to end. She's feeling excited. Oh my, look at him. I think I understand why you were influenced by him. Because he is a devil. Speaking of which, Qingling and the demon monk quietly observed. The kid is happily absorbing the internal energy of the corpse before him. After the rain comes sunshine. The sky outside is now incredibly blue, a voice rang out. Even if I try, guard Cam Hugh, I just can't believe he's the type to betray our young master. The speaker was first-rate guard Chuan Yang Ping. That's right, Ping An said. I think so too. What if he was lying the day he was discovered? Yang Ping questioned. Why? He sighed deeply. People, if you handle them right from the start, everything afterward will go smoother. Therefore, this young master must demonstrate that I'm a picky and strict person like that. Later, when the other party knows better, then we'll show a forgiving face. At that point, things will be more stable. Humans are inherently harsh creatures, you know. So occasionally, you gotta be nice to people. And the payoff will be huge. Yang Ping lowered his head. Indeed, young master, your insight is truly profound. He looked at the sword. Spare me the empty platitudes, will you? Yang Ping retorted. Empty platitudes? What do you mean? The old man pondered. Gan, guard, honestly speaking, your loyalty is somewhat lacking. A test like this is necessary. As rumored, young master, your people skills are top-notch. Yang Ping was secretly convinced that the successor to the Zhuang family head was definitely the second young master. At that moment, suddenly from afar, someone came flying straight in. Young master, something terrible has happened. What's with all the fuss, An Ping? What's wrong? The person who just arrived was the second Liu guard, Han Sheng, and he was panicking. Gan, guard, plans to attack Mu Jingyun, young master. Hearing this, Yang Ping panicked and shouted. He couldn't believe his ears and asked again, What? What? Gan, guard. An Ping interrupted. If he's trying to prove his innocence, that's truly a boneheaded move. Han Sheng continued. However, that's not the important point. Third young master paused, he went on, and declared that the real culprit who actually ordered Camp Protector was none other than Yin Ping. Young master Yin Ping was a little anxious. What? What, that punk? Saying this, he grabbed his sword, ready to quickly deal with him immediately. Yang Ping hurriedly stopped him. Wait, young master. If you touch third young master now, it'll only make people believe what he's saying is true. He grumbled. So you're telling me to just stand here and take it? If that bastard Mu Jingyun sees me defeated, he'll laugh at me for sure. And you're telling me to just sit here and watch him laugh in my face? Yang Ping paused for a moment. Then, let's influence that place. Hearing him say this, Yin Ping quickly stopped, as if they all tacitly understood each other. Yang Ping continued. Third young master said Cam Protector wanted to kill him. If that's the truth, then things just got a whole lot easier. That's the Orange Protectorate's turf. They're pretty gung-ho about their killing. Even have some quirky rules. Failure is a huge no-no for assassin sects. Even retired assassins aren't exempt. You know, at any cost, they'll do whatever it takes to finish the mission assigned. He continued. Let me send a subordinate over there to say a few nice things to them. The terrible place Yang Ping mentioned is none other than the three great assassins of the Central Plains. Flying Kill Sect An Ping silently pondered for a moment, then calmly recalled. Flying Kill Sect, eh? Thinking of the pitiful state of the kid, he flashed a wicked grin. Looks like An Ping really intends to get his hands dirty this time. Night quickly fell upon the Zhong Manor. Everything was eerily quiet. He sat silently in his room, utterly focused. I've been trying to gather chi at my Dantian using the secret manual for ages now. Yet, it's still a failure. Even though I got the chi close to my Dantian, it's still dissipated. Why is this happening? Then, he spoke. Gaozuan. He stood outside and anxiously replied, Yes, sir. Do you have any instructions? Zhang asked him. I'm trying to gather chi at my Dantian, but the chi keeps dissipating. Do you even know why? Hao Xuan wondered what he was even talking about. I haven't even practiced martial arts once, however. How could I dare be impolite? I can only stammer. Yes, well, after one night, I feel full of life after touching my belly. Could it be due to luck? Inwardly, Cao Xuan is screaming, What nonsense are you spouting? Helpless, he thought. If I say that, I'll be beaten to death. Thinking of this, he lowered his voice. Young master, have you tried checking? He looked blank. Checked in what way? Cao Xuan continued. Check to see why the energy you transmit into it dissipates. Now, follow me. He calculated carefully. All right then, you best not defy him. He's still just a child. Isn't it true that at this age, people all think they're talented or something? After that, he instructed him to sit down. Don't mind me. Just focus on circulating your energy. He quickly closed his eyes. Following Cao Xuan's instructions, Zheng's breathing is gradually becoming more even. At this moment, transferring internal energy is also becoming easier. His entire body feels like it's receiving a massive surge of power. Xu Xuan is utterly astonished by this scene. What kind of nonsense is this? He actually managed to circulate qi. Even his blood is incredibly vigorous, so the qi isn't blocked at all. Without a high-level internal master cultivating profound skill daily, forcing energy through his acupoints, how could he possibly achieve this? Xu Xuan assessed in stunned amazement. This kid is a once-in-a-millennium prodigy. Suddenly, a strange sensation washes over him. What's this? I sense something odd, something cold and chilling. A surge of power is about to explode. It's surprising him into a daze. His cultivation has all dissipated. As expected, Xu Xuan is amazed. Young master, did you sense it too? Tell me seriously, is it really that I can't form qi gathering in my dantian? Cao Tuan stammered and said. Well, that's right. Cao Tuan recounted. I felt some strange qi near your dantian, young master, but I couldn't tell what it was. He was momentarily sad. Then is that the reason? What should I do? Am I just going to give up practicing martial arts like this? Cao Tuan wondered. That's strange. It dissipates all true qi. Is there such a thing as qi that isn't ordinary or found in the dantian? What kind of qi is it, I wonder? He commented that it felt like it was opposing. Hearing this, Qin was stunned. Opposing? Cao Tuan thought he said something wrong and panicked. Oh, that's just my guess. You don't need to pay attention to it. This statement made him think, opposing? Opposing each other? Qin kept asking questions and answering them himself. Thinking about it, true qi is very warm, while death qi is cold. So why did you interrupt Cao Tuan? No, I think you're right, Cao Tuan. He said seriously, face darkening. I need to circulate my qi in reverse. Hearing this, Cao Tuan was so astonished his jaw dropped. Huh? He quickly shouted to stop him. No, young master, please. You'll go completely bonkers. Qingling threatened coldly. Want me to help you shut your trap, or what? She thought fiercely. Ignorant mortals, you'll die from your lack of knowledge, daring to be so reckless. If the Shikigami kills the contractor, then I'll get a body of my own. If the contractor dies, the contract with the Shikigami ends, and I won't be bound anymore. Qingling was extremely excited. I didn't expect to be freed sooner than planned. She calculated. When you die, your soul will vanish. I'll personally dismember you. Meanwhile, at the Hui Hua Hall, the surrounding scenery was utterly silent. A mysterious figure, face completely covered, emerged from the shadows. I am a diviner from the Giling Pavilion. He spoke with a dark, eerie voice. I am Fang Shi Sok. Madam Shi thought to herself. Mu Chen, a practitioner of mystical arts, is dead, but they only sent one here? Really? Judging by her voice, she seems like a young woman, eh? She paused, glancing at the corpse. Why did she bring it here? Sok spoke up. I brought Mu Chen's corpse here to avenge the one who killed my fellow disciple. Mu Chen, she pondered. Fellow disciple? Does that mean she's of an even higher rank than Mu Chen? Then she agreed. All right. Fang Shi, Sok continued. Furthermore, there's something I need to do. She asked, puzzled. What is it? A vicious look flashed in her eyes. That third young master. I must kill him. Madam Shi slowly moved her fan aside, revealing her face. Zhen Long, to be honest, I couldn't believe it at first. But now, I like you. Saying this, Madam Shi couldn't contain her joy. It showed on her face. With the family head's consent, Fang Shi, Sok was satisfied. Good! Then she channeled her inner power, forming hand seals. Her eyes blazed with fierce concentration. Suddenly, the corpse of Mu Shen twitched. He opened his eyes wide, mouth agape, looking utterly terrifying. At the same time, Fang Shi Shuo chanted a string of incantations. Fight, 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 advance. By the order of the Northern Emperor. Use evil spirits, hurry, hurry, as the law dictates. As soon as she finished speaking, Fang Shishuo's eyes flashed. She ferociously stabbed the wooden sword down into the corpse of Mu Shen. It was as if some kind of evil power was being transferred. It looked very eerie. Just a moment later, Mu Shen's body suddenly trembled and moved, along with strange sounds echoing out. Madame Shi and Huo En stood by, observing, unable to suppress a chill. Mu Shen's corpse began to change. Countless large and small fleshy bumps appeared on his throat. Not only that, but countless black hands poured out from his 7 orifices. In the blink of an eye, a mountain of hands had crawled out. Fang Shishuo commanded those ghastly things. Target: the 3 young masters, Mu Yun Jing. Looks like tonight, a rain of blood and a whirlwind of gore will arise within your mansion soon. Then a wisp of blue smoke snaked through the window, slipping inside the room. Qingling and the demon monk quickly noticed something amiss. She twisted and turned, checking the situation. But those bizarre hands, they didn't attack them. They just passed by as if they were invisible. Instead, their target was him, Mu Jingyun, the 3rd young master. The demon monk charged forward, fiercely preventing those hands from attacking him. But they kept swarming up like a colony of ants. Qingling, and especially Gao Xuan, were utterly bewildered by this. With her extensive experience, Qingling immediately guessed that this was inverse killing. Madame Shi stood to one side, pondering. She said, "This is inverse killing, huh?" Meaning, every time she stabbed down, that little punk would suffer the pain. Meanwhile, the sorcerer Suo silently stabbed that corpse repeatedly. The power also gradually increased as a result. The demon monk was still trying his best to block these troublesome things. The perverted Madame Shi licked her lips. Just imagining it is already so delightful. She watched with satisfaction as the sorcerer Suo stabbed down in waves. But I'm incredibly happy. In her heart, Shi Furen was screaming, "Again! Again! Stab again!" Over here, he's still got his eyes closed, focusing on cultivation. The demonic monk is still using his body as a shield to keep him safe. Over there, Fang Shishuo hasn't stopped his movements. Looks like this ritual will only stop when he's dead. Shi Furen feels like her whole body wants to float up. Her heart is bursting with excitement. Make him suffer more. Ling stood to one side, watching, taking a puff of her pipe, sneering. "Those ordinary mortals." Right after that, Qingling stepped forward, lightly flicking her sleeve. Streams of red quickly shot out, tightly binding those arms. Her streams of red are like sharp knives, gently severing each arm. Suddenly, her face crinkled a bit. Qingling irritably cursed loudly. What the hell? Over by Shi Furen, Feng Shishuo was focused on stabbing the corpse. Qingling angrily shouted, "The rice is almost cooked, and you dare?" Annoyed, Qingling at this moment isn't playing around anymore. Directly channeling her inner energy, she vanished. Even alone, she can handle all these dirty hands, making it so they can't touch him. Qingling's power actually found its way to where Fang Shishuo was casting his evil spell. Very quickly, both she and the corpse were sent flying. A wave of pain washed over them, causing Fang Shishuo to cry out. Madame Shi, horrified, yelled, "Fang Si, are you all right?" She couldn't speak, just covered her mouth, coughing violently, staring at the blood on her hands. Fang Shishuo couldn't believe it. This is absurd. A backfire. A backfire got countered. With her experience and strength, Fang Shishuo quickly realized it wasn't at the Wangling level. Immediately after, she spoke up, "Madam, I think I need to be paid more." Madame Shi, surprised, asked, "What do you mean? You want more money?" She continued, "Yes, that's exactly what I mean. I need another 1,000 taels of silver." En was stunned. 1,000 taels? What do you mean? With 5 million taels, we could buy so much rice. Why are you asking for more? Fang Shishuo explained, "Things have changed. Because this matter affects my life, I need to be compensated accordingly." Madame Shi was a little uneasy. "You mean this is that dangerous?" The exorcist Suo explained that it was a high-level spirit monster. If it was already at the sovereign spirit level, that's enough to threaten people's lives. Yet this one's at an even higher level than sovereign spirit, she explained, while setting the corpse-filled vehicle upright. After that, she continued to explain, if it surpasses that level, then it will be a calamity. Reaching the azure spirit level, no exorcist can destroy it. Unless there's an exorcist of the same level equivalent to it, then perhaps there's a chance. Although Madame Shi didn't understand the severity of this situation, she was still terrified after hearing the exorcist Suo's words. Immediately after, Madame Shi quickly accepted. All right, I agree with you. Huo-en was surprised. Madam Shi fiercely frowned. You must find a surefire way to deal with that Mu Jing Yun for me. Exorcist Suo continued. If spirit monsters have many levels, then we exorcists also have various different levels, in order from top to bottom. It's divine, sun, moon, skill, meow, beast. Higher than tomb, divine 2. A mere level 1 beast actually completed 5 years of basic cultivation? Fang Ji Shifu Ren saw her true form and was utterly dumbfounded. Mu Chen is her Shidi? She's much younger than I thought. Fang Shi Suo continued. I am one of the 3 great exorcists of the Giling sect. I can control all kinds of monsters and spirits, like a divine sense. To put it bluntly, that young master won't get away unscathed. Saying this, she quickly pushed open the door and stepped out, a glint of malice in her eyes. Fang Shisuo had secretly made a decision this time. She affirmed with certainty that it would definitely be so. Scene change back to his room. Everything inside was a mess after the battle just now. Qingling still stood there, watching over him closely, annoyed and cursing. Damn it! How dare those people ruin my good fortune? Qingling pondered. If he dies after being hit by that move, then his death won't be voluntary anymore. I'll lose the opportunity I have. Daring to touch the body that's about to belong to me, huh? Strange aura quickly enveloped him. Qingling's face darkened as she saw it. She was so shocked she almost screamed. Death and yin energy? No way! She looked at the boy before her, unable to believe what was happening. How could he absorb death energy? Qingling started to get more cautious. This guy is really bizarre. Could he actually pull it off? The ritual? A mere kid who doesn't even know what luck is could actually do all of this? She recalled everything she had witnessed. Just now, he even absorbed death energy into his living body? I hate to admit this, but as Qingling thought this, the boy slowly opened his eyes. She remained silent, observing this strange youth from behind, who was currently staring blankly at his body, checking for any changes. She muttered to herself. Indeed, I'm becoming more and more interested in this kid. He looked at his hands, now covered in demonic power. Sure enough, reversing luck is the right method. Unlike true qi, the energy absorbed this way doesn't dissipate at all. Too bad I can't gather qi in my dantian. There's just too little qi. Qingling looked him over and blurted out. Hey, are you even really alive? He was stunned. I'm alive, just like you see. But Qingling, I'm confused. A healthy, living person like you, how could you possibly absorb death qi? He was surprised. That's impossible? How? Qingling said, It's not impossible, it's just. He stood up and asked, Speaking of which, Qingling, why is the room like this? She calmly replied, Are you curious? He wondered. So the demon monk is chaotic, and Gao Zhuan's guards are also passed out. What's up with that? She secretly broke out in a sweat. Well... Suddenly, right after that, the demon monk sat bolt upright. His expression was extremely grave. The two whispered back and forth. The demon monk recounted the entire incident to him. He was stunned. I understand now. So Gao Zhuan's that way because of Qingling? She burst out. Hey, you blockhead! She fiercely jumped up and rained blows on the demon monk, scolding, Why don't you understand anything, huh? Damn it, why didn't you tell me about this earlier? Luckily, I saved your life from being backstabbed, you ungrateful wretch. Hey, I'm curious, what's a backstab? At the same time, outside, a noise shook the ground. The 3 of them inside were instantly dumbfounded. Qingling's eyes suddenly sharpened. It seemed she knew what the problem was. Immediately after, she calmly observed the situation, blowing out a puff of smoke. Seeing her expression, Zheng asked, What is it? Qingling didn't answer him. Instead, she angrily cursed. These pesky mortals are such a nuisance. As soon as she finished speaking, something black oozed out from under the ground. It spilled into his room. Disgust flashed across Qingling's face. What lunatic dares to use this stuff as a shikigami? He asked curiously. What is it? Qingling explained. It's a Sime Wang Liang from Jingye Mountain. They are 9 horrors. More precisely, what's in front of them is a mountain of deep, poisonous insects and bugs all mixed together. If ordinary people were surrounded by these things, they'd have a hard time staying alive. He watched these things crawling all over the ground, feeling a little bewildered. But Qingling's face remained unchanged. According to Qingling, there are Sime on the mountain. From the depths of the sea, since time immemorial, creatures bringing calamity have been known by such a name. They are the Wang Liang demons. And among these Wang Liang demons, there's a Zhu shifting back towards Fang Shuo. Blackbird of indistinct form lands on her hand. It seems to even possess a third eye. This thing, glowing from the center of its forehead, looks utterly bizarre. Fang Shuo raises her hand to the sky. The bird obeys her command and flies away. That is a Zhu. It resembles a bird, but has a tail like a snake's. Zhu brings disaster by manipulating insects. It's a dangerous creature, often called a ferocious beast by people. Fang Shuo, hidden in the dark room, watches her bird soaring in the sky. She seems very confident with this ace up her sleeve. Quickly, insects crawl all over the ground where she walks. For a Fang Shi, there's no such thing as sentimentality. Fang Shi must face death at all times. Even though Mu Shen is dead, I'm not sad at all. However, seeing his murdered face, I'm not exactly comfortable either. She spoke, forming a hand seal. Those insects, as if hypnotized, ferociously followed Fang Shuo obediently. Her eyes carried murderous intent, clearly reciting the name of the person she wants to kill. Third master, Mu Jingyun. That bird keeps circling around your study. An aura of thick, murderous intent emanates from its body. Fang Shuo ferociously thinks about you. You're about to become food for the vultures, you know. Back to Zhang's side. He looked at the swarm of insects on the ground. His face suddenly revealed an incomprehensible, gloomy expression. Meanwhile, Cao Tuan was still lying in his room, sound asleep, even snoring loudly. Fiercely slapped him in the face, yelling, "Wake up, Cao Tuan." He just woke up and screamed 7 times, "Ouch! Ouch! What is this?" Zhang urgently said, "They're dangerous. Catch them all quickly." Suddenly, he felt a sharp pain in his hand, to the point where Gao Tuan's expression flickered slightly. Gao Tuan raised his hand to look. His hand was already riddled with bite marks. He momentarily panicked. "Whoa, what the heck? I barely touched them, yet you're telling me to use my inner strength for defense?" He thought to himself, "Sure, they're small, but the numbers! We'll be eaten alive." Qingling calmly asked, "What are you planning? If this keeps up, you'll become bug food, you know." He replied, "I'm well aware." Suddenly he spoke. "Qingling, could you lend us a hand?" She indifferently replied, "Me? Why on earth would I help you?" He tried to persuade her. "You and I are already bound together, remember? Why are you still refusing to cooperate?" Gao Tuan silently sweated. Who is he even talking to? Qingling's fishing in troubled waters, huh? If you hand over your soul, I might reconsider. But you're quite helpless, aren't you? Let's just kick the bucket together. Meanwhile, he was busy swatting bugs, while Gao Xuan just stood there yelling, "There are too many." Qingling spoke up. "You're pretty bold, kid. Let's make a bet, then." Hearing this, he froze. Zhang asked, puzzled. "Bet?" Qingling chuckled. "That's right, a wager," she continued. "Right now, you're in a situation where you're about to meet your maker. If you die, then you'll give me your soul." She paused for a moment, then added, "Conversely, if you overcome this disaster, from now on I'll do my best to help you." He turned his back, not looking at Qingling. "Is that a deal? A gentleman's agreement, then?" His reaction surprised her a bit. Very decisive. Meanwhile, the insects were rapidly crawling closer to Zhang's bed, where he and Gao Xuan were standing. He stammered, "Young master, more and more of them are appearing. What should we do?" "Hey, Gao Xuan, no time for dilly-dallying. Find something flammable, pronto. We're starting a bonfire." "What? You surprised? Trust me, if we use this lantern as kindling, even if there's a whole horde of them, they can't touch us." Cao Xuan's still spacing out. "Huh?" He's panicking, a bit hesitant. "That lamp is way over there." Zhang stares intently at the lantern, focused like never before. His eyes gleam with sharpness. He's using that ritual he just learned. A huge gust of wind quickly pulls everything towards Jing. Lantern quickly floats right into his hand. Cao Xuan's stunned. What trick did you just use? Zheng fidgets. I don't have time to explain. He thinks to himself. Just who is behind all this? A normal person couldn't use magic or control Shikigami. He ponders, then smirks wickedly. It must be that she-granny, Jing guesses. So there's a mage at the old lady's side. If we start a fire, everyone will panic. Then they'll take advantage of the chaos. He pauses, then gives a sly grin and makes his decision. I shall annihilate those sorcerers. On this side, Sorceress Suo is controlling that bird. She's yelling loudly. Suddenly, the insects went even more berserk. They're surging up the river, straight towards you. Gao Suan was startled and screamed. What's with them? Zhong was also stunned for a moment, not knowing how to react. From the dark corner, Sorceress Suo slowly walked out. She coldly said, You think I'd just sit still and let you play your tricks, huh? Wherever I go, the insects will follow. This scene looks extremely chilling. Sorceress Suo glanced over, scornfully cursing. You fool, she said. My right eye is a Byakugan. It can see through everything in this world. No matter what you do behind my back, you can't hide it from me. As she spoke, she placed her hand on the wall of your room, sensing the movements inside. Sorceress Suo is smug because I can see everything. Suddenly she went crazy. Damn you, Chuju! Break down the door for me. As soon as she finished speaking, the door to your room suddenly exploded. Loud crash startled Cao Xuan. They both stood there dumbfounded as Fang Shisu's figure gradually emerged from the dust. He looked at her with an utterly indifferent expression. So nice to meet you, Cao Xuan mumbled. Who are you? Fang Shisu's white eyes suddenly lit up, and she stared intently at him. From his chest, something like a red thread extended outwards, and it was constantly glowing. The demon monk fiercely appeared from behind, planning his sneak attack. However, she quickly chanted an incantation. Entrust the evil spirits quickly, as the law decrees. As soon as she finished speaking, those arms slammed down ferociously on the demon monk. Like a powerful waterfall, she fiercely stomped her foot on the demon monk's head, cursing, You useless thing! Afterward, Fang Shisu looked towards him. I can see everything, you know. Cao Xuan hid the knife behind his back, planning to ambush her. However, it seemed that Fang Shisu had noticed. She fiercely grabbed a yellow talisman with red writing on it. This is the same old curse. Then she threw the talisman toward Cao Xuan's forehead, chanting loudly, Quickly, as the law commands. The dagger in Cao Xuan's hand flew out as he quickly snatched it. Fang Shishuo fiercely ordered her bird, Choo! Kill him! That bird quickly obeyed her command. It ferociously charged forward along with that swarm of insects, but he didn't expect them to be so terrifying. In just a flash, the whole swarm madly pounced towards him like hungry tigers. A mass of insects quickly covered his entire body. Zheng Yishi was momentarily stunned, thus falling into a passive position. Hundreds of bugs swarmed over, viewing him as a delicious prey. Fang Shishuo darkly called out, Third young master, Mu Jingyun! Her eyes revealed a hint of death. She looked towards him being covered by insects, secretly pleased. Now you can sleep for an eternity. At this moment, Zheng Yishi was sitting still and unmoving amidst that swarm of poisonous insects. He closed his eyes tightly, not moving. They slowly bit into his entire body, causing Zong some pain. His room quickly became a place of utter chaos and disgust. The demon monk was controlled. He was surrounded by insects, while Cao Xuan had fainted. Fang Shishuo smugly thought, I solved them quicker than I thought. Could that be the Azure Spirit Star? The sorcerer Suo no longer cared about that Qingling thing, just directly coaxed the bird. Good job. Now go on. If he were all alone, then he'd be eaten by those insects and die. Ah ha ha. Leaves triumphantly. This request wasn't a big deal after all. Suddenly, as if sensing something, she stopped, her entire body frozen in surprise. Those insects didn't seem to be clinging to him anymore. Jing resolutely stabbed himself with a knife, fresh blood quickly gushing out. The sorcerer Suo slowly turned around to look at her. He felt an oppressive aura right behind him. Indeed, his eyes were incredibly terrifying at this moment. Blood dripped to the ground from the wound he had just inflicted upon himself. More importantly, the insects that sucked his blood all fell to the ground, as if poisoned. Zheng's image at this moment was just like a demon, an envoy from hell demanding lives. He glared fiercely at the sorcerer Suo. She and the bird beside her were stunned to the point of just standing there like statues. Zheng's gaze was as if he were a completely different person, looking soulless and utterly alien. He kept cutting into his skin with the knife, fresh blood flowing profusely. But it seemed to be exactly as he calculated. Those insects, after coming into contact with his blood, they died in droves on the ground. Almost none of them survived after sucking his blood. Very quickly, just a moment later, they were all dead and scattered on the ground. The sorceress Sock just stood there dumbfounded, not understanding what was happening to the swarm. Or insects. She had never seen anyone so insane cutting their own body to make medicine. To destroy the poisonous insects, he dripped blood all over his body. Looking at him now, he looked like a bloodied man, smiling in extreme horror. The sorceress Sock had never felt such a chill. In her life, she had met many opponents, but someone like him was too terrifying. Immediately after, he rushed straight towards her, saying loudly, "Unfortunately for you, my blood is extremely poisonous, so it's not difficult to kill those insects." As soon as he finished speaking, he rushed over, holding a sharp knife pointed directly at her. The sorceress Sock panicked and fell to the ground. Looking at this insane young man, she had never felt so afraid. "Oi, oi, no!" he yelled. That black bird fiercely cried out once, then, flapping its wings, it headed toward him. Looks like it wants to protect its master. My insect attacks are useless against him now. While Chiu-Ju stalls for time, what kind of technique should I unleash? How formidable! To amplify its strength. Thinking this, she swiftly formed a hand seal, shouting, "Divine Ox God Power Technique. Form breaking number 8, first form." Meanwhile, over here, he's ferociously confronting that Chiu-Ju. That's right, Chiu-Ju. He initiated a ritual to draw it toward him. Chiu-Ju, terrified, ended up right in Zheng's hand. He grinned evilly, squeezing its neck tightly. Seeing the scene before her, the magician was shocked and couldn't help but panic. She stared blankly at him. Chiu-Ju's miserable cries echoed, then abruptly stopped. He breathed a sigh of relief. Chiu-Ju was completely still. Zheng smiled with satisfaction. Finally, a little quieter. Magician Shuo hurriedly ran toward him, shouting, "What? What did you do to Chiu-Ju?" Suddenly, a red string appeared from Magician Shuo's chest. Like a conductor, she panicked. A wave of pain gradually came, causing her to collapse. Why am I suddenly in so much pain? This pain originates from my Shikigami? Chiu-Ju. What exactly happened to Chiu-Ju? Suddenly the shaman squirrel stopped. She sensed it. It's Chiu-Ju's demonic energy. But right now, its demonic energy is rapidly depleting. If this continues, then her Chiu-Ju is done for. She looked at him in surprise, her mind in a complete mess. He's draining it dry? Just like Thon Lin, this is what surprises her. How could this be? He's still alive, yet he can absorb both death energy and yin energy. This is truly out of the ordinary, she mused, thinking about what's happening before her eyes. For a moment, she didn't know how to react, the shaman squirrel thought. He killed all those insects with his bare hands. He definitely has some seriously twisted energy inside him. Not just a little, but a whole darn lot. And it's accumulating more and more each day. Just by killing like this, huh? He can build up his Dantian super fast then. Seeing the bird I've always cherished, slowly getting its demon energy sucked away. My heart aches as I speak. Hold on, you exorcist. Sob. Tears are falling. If you absorb so much energy, then Chiu-Ju will die. Stop it now. Don't suck anymore. I beg you, please stop. Her expression is extremely satisfying to him. The fiend! A cunning smile creeps across his lips. Cut to Huihua Hall. She's residence. Huo-En worriedly steps forward. "Madam, it's awfully cold outside." Seeing her mistress remain silent, she continues. "Please come inside." She is restless, still unclear about the situation. "I can't just sit here doing nothing." Madame Thatch's face showed a sinister look. "If necessary, I will go and check it myself. I want to ask that Taoist priest 2 things. One is the life of that Ma Kin Van. The remaining thing is the secret manual. To prevent her from taking that secret manual away, I must ensure that no one gets those 2 secret manuals." A moment later, the servant next to Madame Thatch happily said loudly, "Madam, The Taoist priest has returned. I was startled and turned around. I saw the figure of Taoist Squirrel walking towards me from the darkness. Madam Thatch could not hide her joy and exclaimed, "She's back!" So she did it. She was smug. "Makin Van, you filthy, smelly brat. Now the 2 secret manuals are about to fall into my hands, and my son will become the master of the manor." Thinking of this, Madam Thatch could not help but feel happy. Her face was distorted from holding back her laughter. Hoke Ann and the maid were also happy for her. "Madam, congratulations." "Congratulations, Madam She." Fine, don't get too excited now." Right after, Madam She noticed something strange. Fang Shishi just stood there, staring intently at her. This strange behavior of hers made Madam She and her people momentarily dumbfounded. Madam She asked herself, "Why? Why isn't she coming over?" she asked suspiciously. "Fang Shishi, what's wrong? Come here and tell me." Suddenly, Fang Shishi closed her eyes tightly. It seemed like she wanted to say something that was very difficult to say. Finally, she took a deep breath and mustered all her courage to say loudly, "Great madam, our Geeling Pavilion has accepted your commission. However, we cannot kill the 3rd young master, Mu Jingyun." Hearing this, Madam Shi's people, and even she herself, were stunned, their mouths agape. She was stunned, unable to believe what she had just heard. She couldn't react for a moment. Fang Shishi trembled with anger. "That little brat, he's a devil in human skin. He made me do this." Calling it, he had said to her, "Frame Madam Shi with your own mouth." Seeing the bewildered exorcist squirrel, he continued, "You said you would work to save your Shikigami, right? If I killed you, she would send someone else, someone from your Ghost Spirit Pavilion, so I told you to accuse her." His eyes glared fiercely. "Ah! So that's it. The Ghost Spirit Pavilion and Madam will become enemies." Exorcist Squirrel bit his lip, thinking, "If I do that, I will become a traitor to the Ghost Spirit Pavilion. But there is no other way." Back to the present, he shouted loudly, "She said that young Master Makin Van is a demon. She asked us to destroy the Yin spirits and kill young Master Makin Van. But from what I have seen, young Master Makin Van is not a demon at all. So never entrust that matter to the Ghost Spirit Pavilion again." Madam Thatch was stunned. From afar, whispers rose. "What? Who is trying to kill whom?" "Madam Thatch wants to take the lives of the 3rd young master. Why? Is it to seize the position of head of the estate?" "Quick, go to U-Hole Hall and arrest Madam Thatch." Hogan panicked. Great madam. The martial artists from their estate are rushing here. Madam Huo En's voice is becoming increasingly urgent. But the master doesn't answer. She keeps calling Madam, but it seems she's been taken by surprise, momentarily unable to react. Madam's mind is screaming, "Mu Jingyun! Mu Jingyun!" The silent, dark night is shattered by a loud voice, making the atmosphere even more lively. What happened at the Huihua Hall? Where is the 3rd young master? Zhang looks towards Fang Shishuo. "Have you done as I said?" Seeing her silence, he happily squeezes the black bird's neck, making it squawk loudly. Fang Shishuo glances over, lazily replying, "As you can see, I have." It's all over. She trembles with anger. Finally, everything has gone according to his wishes. From now on, She Madam and the Ghost Spirit sect will become enemies. And She Madam has turned into the culprit, wanting to assassinate one of the 3 young masters. I don't have to worry about her anymore. However, to save my Shikigami, I had to betray the Ghost Spirit sect. They will probably chase me for the rest of my life. Sorceress Shuo figured it was time to leave, then looked at him. "Return my Shikigami as you promised." He looked at Sorceress Shuo and smiled amiably. "Before I return it, I have something to ask you." She didn't know what he'd ask, but she was sure it wasn't going to be pleasant. Sorceress Shuo was surprised. "You want to know about the Shimei Wang Liang?" He answered calmly. "That's right. Tell me about the controllers of Shikigami, like that demon monk or this bird. Especially about your Gailing sect." Sorceress Shuo glanced at the demon monk, pondering. Indeed, he's not possessed. That's his Shikigami. Puzzling, truly baffling. How did he manage to adopt such a resentful spirit? To use it as a Shikigami? How? I'm sweating bullets. More importantly, he doesn't just have one Shikigami. From his heart's position, Sorceress Shuo could see as many as 2 Shikigami connection cords. Deng suddenly squeezed the black bird hard, making it squawk loudly. "You don't want to tell me, huh?" Sorceress Shuo sighed, reluctantly stammering. I'll tell you. There are 6 levels of Shi Mei Wang Liang, ferocious beast, strange beast, demon beast, magic beast, spirit beast, divine beast. Even curiosity is already a source of trouble. The higher the level, the more dangerous they are. The Quietland Pavilion has 3 people, including me, who can control those types of Sai, Mi Vong Luong as a Shikigami. One of them is a close assistant to the Pavilion Masters. He controls a Shikigami called the Ancient Eagle of Low 5 Mountain. I don't know how strong it is, but one thing is for sure. It's very dangerous. There's another person, the Quietland Pavilion Master. I don't know what kind of Shikigami he uses either, but I'm sure it's a top-tier level, not low at all. Jin, upon hearing this, pondered and judged. So it could be a spirit beast or a divine beast? Fong Sisa continued. Impossible. Spirit beasts or divine beasts only appear in legends. I've never heard of it. No one has ever possessed a spirit beast or a divine beast as a Shikigami. I guess it's just a demonic beast or a magical beast. There's a book about those types of Simi Vong Luong. I'll give it to you now. Cao Toan curiously read aloud the book's title, Classic of Mountains and Seas. Happily accepting, Zheng said, "Then thank you." Curiously opening the book, he wondered, so the master beast of the Geeling Pavilion is a dragon, huh? Just this measly ram pig? Yet I've absorbed so much death energy already. He secretly wished, if only I could get my hands on a high-level Sime Wang Liang. That'd be awesome. Right then, I'll return this to you, he said. Excellent. Here's your familiar spirit. After being tormented for quite a while, Rampig's head was spinning. Zheng looked at the swaggering Fang Shishuo and asked, "Aren't you going to thank me?" "Oh, come on." Annoyed, grinding his teeth, Fang Shishuo said, "Thank you." Zheng continued, louder. "Fang Shishuo, humble yourself and say it again." "Thank you," Fang Shishuo repeated. Zheng raised his voice. "All right, you may leave now," Zheng ordered. Gao Zuan, standing nearby, was speechless. This kid, honestly. Fang Shishuo quickly hugged his rampig, along with a belly full of anger, and quickly went outside. Zheng cracked a satisfied smile, thinking to himself, what a lucky day indeed. Now Shifuring can't do anything to me. Every single move she makes, from this moment on, will be under surveillance. Just now, he has absorbed almost all the purple energy of Kuchu. Now I can create a Dantian, and from this moment on, I can practice martial arts. Your face is determined. And Cao Tone advances. Do you think your thoughts are okay? I don't understand. What do you mean? Cao Toan looks at her. That Taoist, she must hate you now. You rumble, I promised, so what? I can't go back on my word. He worried. Aren't you worried about the consequences? What if she takes revenge? Chin calmly says, what you say is right, but I don't think she will do anything. Cao Toan wonders why. Chin changes his voice and coldly replies, because I have another agreement. Taoist squirrel carries a bird into the deep forest. Looking at it trembling and dying, she is heartbroken. If it dies now, it would not be strange. She thinks fiercely, Ma Kin Van, although I'm leaving now. But one day, I will be back. Suddenly, a cold voice rang out. It seems you have nurtured the intention to take revenge personally, haven't you? Immediately afterward, a surge of power carrying evil energy attacked directly at her. Sorceress Society stood blankly, looking at the place where she had just been attacked. This feeling, this is... After a moment, the two words, Nigich Sat, reversal killing, echoed in her mind. No, I don't believe it. It's impossible. I can't believe it. How could such an extremely evil, vengeful spirit become his Shikigami? Sorceress Society frantically hugged the bird in her arms. From the darkness, a hand reached out towards her face. And then, one of Sorceress Sock's eyes was destroyed. That was the eye that allowed her to see through everything. Sorceress Society painfully clutched her eye, but still didn't dare to scream. Not even a word. Suddenly a head looked directly at her. It's Thun Lin. She's chased all the way here. It seems she's acting on your orders. Thun Lin teased mischievously. Lost an eye, but you're still beautiful, aren't you? Sorceress Society seemed to not have regained her composure yet. She stared blankly. What happened? I can't breathe, she exclaimed. Before she could understand the problem, blood spurted from all 7 orifices of her body. Cut to Lady Shi, who's screaming bloody murder. Grand Elder, I've been wronged. Heavens! It was Mu Jingyun that Mu Jingyun framed the whole thing. Do you really think I'd lay a finger on him? Seriously? Feng Si and the 3 young masters conspired to frame me. There behind this trickery, the Grand Elder, as she called him, tapped his fingers on the table. Finally, he couldn't hold back. "Silence!" Lady Shi was shocked to be yelled at. She just stood there, dumbfounded. The Grand Elder glared. "I said, be quiet," he continued. "Now, what exactly happened at the medicine hall?" Lady Shi stammered. "Well, it's a restricted area, you see." But he pressed on. "Didn't he save the master? Or were you trying to finish the master off?" Hearing this, Lady Shi panicked. "Grand Elder!" Seeing her reaction, he scowled, staring Lady Shi down. Then he continued, "I cannot overlook this case. I will send people to investigate. Therefore, I expect the lady to fully cooperate and tell the truth." Madame Shi was speechless, silently bowing her head to obey. He continued, "Don't worry. I will surely get to the bottom of everything. We will find all the truth about Second Master, Third Master, and you." Meanwhile, back at Shu Huan's chamber, he was concentrating on circulating qi, his whole body covered in cuts from that night. The space was utterly silent and still, with the night enveloping everything. Elder Tang was still lost in thought. He tapped the table repeatedly, deeply troubled. He just couldn't understand. Why would Second Master and Madame Shi want to kill Third Master? Was it a power grab? Or was it because Third Master was more favored by the Master? Third Master currently has no martial arts, nor anyone to support him. So why do they all want him dead? Or is there some other reason I don't know? The Elder mulled over it, remembering. Thinking back, when I interrogated him, his attitude wasn't normal either. He seemed so calm, as if he knew everything. He's just been through a near-death experience, so his soul hasn't quite caught up yet, or maybe he's just spacing out? Hang on, the old man's pondering something to put his mind at ease. After much deliberation, the sect leader stood up, declaring, "There's no other way. I'll investigate myself." Meanwhile, our boy's intensely focused, gathering qi in his dantian, and the demon monk is still watching over him like a hawk. After dealing with the shaman Suo, Qingling swiftly returned. Demon monk bowed respectfully as soon as he saw her. Qingling glanced at our hero. Seeing his focus, she exclaimed, "Wow, look at that kid." Qingling observed more closely. "I didn't think he could accumulate so much qi from chives. When he said he had a faster way to create a dantian, I thought it was just a joke, but I guess it's true." She quietly stood there, focused on him, without a word. After watching him for a while, a thought suddenly popped into her head. Come to think of it, this kid is actually quite handsome. Suddenly, at that very moment, as she stared intently at him, he slowly opened his eyes. The moment he opened his eyes and saw this scene, he was puzzled and asked directly, "What are you doing?" Qingling, embarrassed, immediately turned away, stammering, "I wasn't doing anything." Zhang immediately noticed her embarrassment and chuckled lightly, asking again, "Really?" Still, teasing a resentful spirit as old as time like that, she became annoyed and gritted her teeth. Finally, unable to hold back, she shouted, "Focus on your luck. Don't be ridiculous." She was terribly annoyed. Why did I bet with him back then? I have no idea. That wretched sorceress. Oh, right. I have to try harder. Suddenly, Zhang yelled, interrupting her train of thought. "All right, I just remembered. I need you to confirm something," she asked, puzzled. "Confirm?" He hummed in agreement and continued, "I don't know if this is the dantian that you, Qingling, mentioned." Qingling was disdainful. What kind of dantian forms in just one night? If you're diligent, maybe one day you could. Before she finished, he cut her off. "This little lump is right on my navel!" Hearing this, she was surprised and curious. Looking over, Qingling seemed quite astonished. He looked at the glowing thing on his stomach, wondering, "What is this? It's not a dantian?" Qingling was so surprised her eyes went wide. She stared intently at that area. Qingling awkwardly scratched her head. "Can I examine it a bit?" He quickly agreed. "Sure, go ahead. But how will you examine it?" She said, "I'll place my hand on the dantian area. I'll materialize it with my fingertips. Then touch it to feel it. It might be a little uncomfortable. Try to bear with it, okay?" As Qingling touched it, a burst of golden light emanated powerfully from his dantian. Seeing her strange expression, he asked in surprise, "What's wrong?" Qingling was bewildered. "I can't touch it." He was also perplexed. "Huh? Why?" she asked urgently. "How should I know?" "Hey, you, demon monk, try touching it again. You can't suppress your curiosity, can you? Do you know why this is happening?" Qingling says she's not sure either. She's deep in thought. "Is it because I've become a shikigami that this is happening?" She glances at Cao Swan, who's sleeping soundly beside her, and an idea pops into her head. Immediately acting on it, she pokes him hard in the stomach, but strangely enough, I can touch this guy. But Cao Xuan is just an ordinary person, after all. He couldn't take it and fainted. Qingling clicked her tongue apologetically. Forgive me. She feels uneasy. I don't think the problem is with me, he asks again. So do you have any other way to check? Qingling suddenly remembers. Even so, there's still one way. Suddenly, he hears footsteps approaching his room. Qingling and he silently look toward the approaching footsteps. A voice rings out from outside the door. Young master, are you taking a nap? I am Waitung Master, Shang Xiong Bai. He wonders, Waitung Master? Why is he here? At this hour, Superior Xiong, the head of the Bai Outer Hall, is among the loyal subordinates to the second-generation Zhuangju of Ranmu Sword Manor. He is a respected elder, trusted by many. They even say whichever young master he supports has a good chance of becoming the next Zhuangju. So Shifuren doesn't dare mess with him. He's the most influential person in Ranmu Sword Manor. The head of the Outer Hall, hearing no reply, spoke again. Are you still awake? What's wrong? Why are you looking for me at this hour? He wondered. The head of the Outer Hall spoke up, but first he continued as a subordinate. I apologize, Gongzi. The Outer Hall failed to ensure your safety. It's my fault. He blankly waved his hand. It's okay. I don't blame you. The head of the Outer Hall bowed his head low. Regardless, this is... He hesitated. Don't do that. He smiled kindly. I'm really fine, so I don't blame you at all. Suddenly, the head of the Outer Hall's face changed, gradually looking up. Then he shouted urgently, Gongzi, wait a moment! His arm froze just as he was about to touch his head. Both of them fell into silence. He just stood there dumbfounded as our boy curiously craned his neck, staring intently at Elder Tangju. He awkwardly lowered his hand, then slapped his shoulder while laughing heartily. Thank you for understanding me. He was curious. But where is the dagger I once gave you? Why didn't you use it? Our boy asked back, puzzled. The dagger? Elder Tangju said it was a self-defense weapon. That I gave to you when the Manor Lord passed away. I distributed them to all 3 young masters. Could it be that you've already lost it? Our boy covertly glanced over at Cao Xuan, but he was still lying, motionless, unconscious. Having no other choice, Zeng had to mumble, I remember now. I put it away in the closet. He said happily, Okay, that's good. Luckily, it's still there. For a moment there, I thought you had lost it, so I was a little sad, you know. After that, both burst out laughing. Our boy hesitated before continuing. Oh, about that dagger? Elder Tangju asked back. What about it? Zeng frowned deeply, thinking, after giving it some thought, I've never even heard of this before. The Outer Hall Master didn't pretend anymore. He directly took off his mask. That's right, because I never gave it to you. Immediately afterward, he rushed over and fiercely struck a palm towards him. With one palm strike, Zeng's bed quickly shattered. The Outer Hall Master fiercely glared at him. You have made 2 mistakes. He rushed over to touch his pressure points and began to speak. First, the 3rd young master, when he sees others bowing their heads, he will act arrogantly. And since the 2nd young master and 3rd young master were defeated by the 4th young master, whenever he sees anyone raising their hand, he will unconsciously cower. But you are too relaxed. You don't even have the slightest bit of hesitation. I have touched your pressure points, now you can't move. So, honestly, confess, where is the real young master right now? Hearing these things, he unconsciously smiled mysteriously, but unexpectedly, when his feet landed, they could touch and stand firmly on the ground. The Outer Hall Master didn't expect that even after having his pressure points touched, he could still stand firm. He was so surprised that he shouted loudly. What? He looked up to the sky and laughed maniacally, then shouted loudly, Van Lin. At this moment, madness and evil appeared in Zeng's eyes. Right after that scream, a fierce hand swiftly struck straight for the chest of the Elder Hallmaster. He panicked, yelling, My heart! How dare you! Qingling chuckled wickedly from behind, her voice chilling. So eager to die, huh? Zheng chuckled, pleased. Indeed, Qingling is in a completely different league, she continued. I understand now. Life and death energy are polar opposites, you see. So the life energy dissipated when it entered you, naturally, she concluded. You mortal, you definitely have a Dantian, a living human body, capable of forming a dantian. Without deep internal energy cultivation, no wonder acupressure doesn't work on you. How interesting. Though you have a dantian now, your true identity has been revealed. So what are you planning to do now? If you study martial arts here, I'm afraid it'll be quite difficult. He calmly replied, I know. I didn't expect to be discovered so quickly. Immediately afterwards, Zheng flashed a sly smile, scheming. Looks like he's cooked up yet another mischievous plan. Speak up and give the order. Demonic monks possess Shang Xiangbai. The outer sect master is stunned. Thun Lin can't help but praise you. You truly are no different from us demons. The outer sect master trembles. Who in the world is he talking to? Possession? Suddenly, a surge of pain sends the outer sect master into a panic. His body feels like it's being torn apart. The outer sect master is terrified. Why me? What on earth is happening? There's someone here who looks exactly like the third young master. Even when I strike his pressure points, it has no effect. Something is squeezing my heart, but I clearly see nothing here. He begins to feel dread. Have I discovered something that I never knew before? Trembling, the outer sect master asks, Who exactly are you? The young master calmly looks at the outer sect master. I am the third young master of the Ranmu Sword Manor. Daybreak is also the time when the air is fresh and pushes back the darkness that was hidden by night. Gao Quan is puzzled, walking around while thinking to himself, How strange. This is truly strange. Woke up this morning, and the bed's already busted. The outer courtyard warriors are acting mighty skittish all of a sudden, even though yesterday they were tailing us like we were criminals. Before I could even finish thinking, one of them steps up and greets you all respectful like, sir. Young master is waiting. Cao Xuan's face went dark. Huh? What in tarnation is going on here? But he still keeps it polite. Yes. Cao Chuan opens the door, and a familiar figure is standing there bright and early. He's so shocked his jaw drops. Internally, he's screaming. Zheng sees him and is all smiles. You've arrived. Cao Xuan still ain't got a clue. What's the deal? Zheng orders, Now, go do your job, outer courtyard leader. The outer courtyard leader, a.k.a. Demon Monk, bows his head. Yes, sir, I'm on it. Cao Xuan watches the outer courtyard leader's respectful attitude toward him, still can't shake his shock. Zheng interrupts his thoughts. You're just in time. Breakfast has just been served. Come, sit and eat with me. The moment the door closed, Cao Tuan roared. Young master, how could this Zheng be so calm? Just sit down. I'll tell you the whole story later. Zheng spoke up. I have a question to ask, Cao Tuan stammered. Yes. What do you want to ask, sir? He cheerfully asked about the basic moves of the Ranmu swordplay. Could you teach me? Upon hearing this, Cao Tuan spat out the food he hadn't even swallowed, out of sheer surprise, remembering how just now he was diligently practicing in front of Qingling. However, after struggling for a while, nothing changed. Zhang wondered, how strange. Clearly, I've done everything written in the secret manual, but why? Why aren't the movements connected at all? Qingling calmly exhaled a puff of smoke. Because it's a superior martial art. The movements in that secret manual all contain secrets. Superior secrets. You need to focus on enlightenment. Only then can you reach a high level. He asked again, isn't it a precious treasure? Qingling scolded him. Are you dense? Even genuine martial artists might not grasp it. If you don't learn the basics, how can you understand superior martial arts? Superior martial arts focus on enlightenment to reach a higher state. It helps martial artists transcend their current level. It's a form of martial art that helps one reach a higher level by eliminating unnecessary stances. If you don't learn the basics, having a secret manual is useless. In other words, without knowing the basic moves, you're nothing. Just an empty shell. He ate as he pondered. It seems if I don't learn the basic moves, I won't grasp the secret manual and return to the present. Gao Zhuan stood up abruptly, alarmed. Are you studying that secret manual now? Do you want to become an admin? Zheng stammered. How could I possibly? He pressed. Then why? Zheng replied, I just think that martial art will help me. Gao Zhuan explained. It's no ordinary secret manual, you know, but this martial art is so superior. It's worth its weight in the martial arts world. Young master is truly stunned? Is that so? Cao Xuan even said that if you learn it, it might cause trouble later. Just don't get caught, and it'll be fine. I can't teach you the basic moves, young master. The boy curiously asks, "Why?" He said it's because I don't know them. I only saw the sect leader practicing from afar once or twice. The basic moves of the Ranmu swordplay are unique martial arts. Basic moves include Ranmu 9 forms and Ranmu beginning. The swordplay can only be passed down to family members, those who bear the Mu surname. Only those who inherit the bloodline of the Mu family can be taught it? The boy pressed. So who knows those basic moves? Cao Xuan recalled that it was the sect leader and the other young masters. The boy pondered. Then he continued. So only they know? Cao Xuan replied, Yes, that's right. Cao Xuan secretly worried. This is no good. If he has a conflict with the other young masters now, if he's not careful, his identity will be exposed. Immediately afterwards, the protagonist stood up, extremely determined. There's no other way, let's go. Cao Toan blankly looked at Theo and asked, Where are you planning to go? The boy calmly said, To someone who can teach me basic moves. He gasped in surprise again. Cao Toan quickly ran to Theo and said softly, That won't do, young master. If they suspect you, the boy interrupted, if you keep worrying about this and that, you won't be able to do anything. Let's go and see. He still hesitated. But who are you planning to meet? Cao Toan followed Theo, trying to ask. Suddenly, his face turned pale. His whole body trembled uncontrollably. He didn't expect that the person that Theo wanted to meet was the fourth young master, who had once defeated him. Both of them quickly stood in front of the fourth young master's training ground. The boy silently observed for a long time. Looking at his incredibly toned body, his face revealed a sense of resilience from his very core. And Cao Toan, he's been silently watching fourth young master practice this whole time. A moment later, he happily went to shout and call out, but Cao Xuan frantically stopped him from behind. He hesitated. Wait, Cao Xuan spoke up. I already told you, didn't I? The two of you already had that incident. He was stunned. Are you talking about when third young master got beaten for offending his birth mother? Speaking of this, he became even more anxious. You know that, and you're still going over there? Cao Xuan sighed in relief. I still remember that day very clearly. At that time, screams rang out. Seventh young master, please, I beg you. Please, stop. Cao Xuan continued. Several leg and rib bones of third young master were completely crushed. He cried, screamed, and continuously begged for help. Fourth young master was truly indignant for third young master, and, more importantly, he paused for a moment, then continued. He's only 16 years old, but he has already reached the pinnacle of cultivation. Qing Ling, standing next to him, said, If what he's saying is true, then that guy will be useful. Do you see that? It's rare for someone to have such luck at 16. He's a prodigy. If I were still alive, I'd take him as my disciple, she warns. Be careful, okay? The sun's rising, so I'm not strong enough to help you yet. Hearing Qingling say that only makes me think this guy is more interesting. He flashes a satisfied grin. Gao Zhuan earnestly advises, So we should just give up, huh? Before he could finish, he quickly rushes past. He shouts in fear. Young master, this way! Fourth young master is focusing, eyes closed, practicing stances, sweating. His entire body is drenched. Realizing someone is standing close and staring intently, he opens his eyes to observe. The moment he sees him, fourth young master's expression quickly changes, becoming incredibly fierce. Terrified, Gao Zhuan quickly shrinks behind him. He greets cheerfully with composure. Fourth young master wonders, thinking, why isn't he scared? After that, he said sternly, Get lost now, or don't blame me. Even after the warning, he just stood there, greatly surprising him. Young Master Sai was momentarily stunned, stammering as he looked at him. What are you doing? Jing didn't say anything, just held up the secret manual he had. Not hurried, not rushed. He gently smiled brightly, then asked, Do you want it? Young Master Sai didn't beat around the bush. How do I know if it's real or fake, though? Zheng tossed it over. Just check it out. Young Master Sai silently looked at him warily, decisively snatching the book. He quickly opened it up, and the content inside shocked him immensely. Young Master Sai hastily flipped through several pages. It's real. Everything in here will help strengthen my martial arts. This is clearly the Zhuang Master's secret manual. But when he flipped to a certain section, Young Master Sai was a bit surprised, because some pages in it had tears. Curiously, he looked towards Zheng. Why are some pages torn like this? He didn't answer, just stood there silently, pointing at his head. The meaning was that he had memorized and destroyed those pages. Fourth Young Master angrily cursed this scoundrel in his head, then asked him, "Where did you get this thing?" Zheng indifferently replied, "Does that really matter? All you need to know is that I've got it." Suddenly, Fourth Young Master flew into a rage and shouted, "How dare you come here to see me? Soon enough I'll be a better clan leader than you. Stop dreaming, pal. You came here just to say that, did you?" Having said that, he furiously threw the book at him, grabbed it, then disappeared from sight. Zheng calmly bent down to pick it up. "Seems like you've misunderstood my intentions." He dusted off the book and continued, "I came here only to propose a deal. I've got zero interest in that clan leader seat." Hearing him say this, Fourth Young Master was momentarily confused and retorted, "Huh?" Then he burst out laughing. "Is that so? You're not interested in the clan leader's seat, eh?" Immediately after that, a furious fist slammed straight into Jing's face. "Jing, you just don't believe my words, huh?" Fourth Young Master really punched him hard in the face, causing Zhang to fall uncontrollably to the ground. Seeing Zhang get knocked so far away, Gao Xuan shouted in panic, "Fourth Young Master! Fourth Young Master!" Fourth Young Master asked him in a low, contemptuous voice, "You really think I would believe that? Have you forgotten what happened 2 years ago? Then I will help you remember." The Fourth Young Master roared, "You won't be able to do anything to me again." Qin wiped the blood on his nose, thinking to himself. Reaching the pinnacle realm, he looked at the blood on his hand and smiled contentedly. He really is very different. He thought to himself, not to mention that black sword, but the masters I have met before, like Kamsgard, or the outer sect leader. They didn't give me a feeling of pressure like this. Now I understand why Cao Tone was so scared. He looked at the young man standing in front of him, exuding murderous intent. Then he secretly assessed him. This guy, he really is a monster. Qin calculated. It seems that not everything can be solved by luck. My body was unable to react in time just now. If I try to practice martial arts, maybe I can become strong in the future. Like this, can I? If I cultivate that martial art, then I probably can. I can totally avenge our ancestor. Thinking of this, he nodded with satisfaction. "Not bad. Your fist technique is indeed incredibly powerful." Fourth Young Master looked at him with utter disdain. "Are you scared? Seems you're still babbling nonsense, huh? So I guess you're not frightened at all. Perhaps I need to beat you up some more so you finally wake up." Zheng spoke up. "All right. I understand that you doubt me." Fourth Young Master grabbed him by the collar. "I don't doubt you. I'm sure of it." He fiercely prepared to throw a punch. "Everything you said is utter rubbish, not at all believable." Zheng smiled brightly but didn't resist. "So, I guess I'm out of options. I can't argue anymore, can I?" He continued. "I suppose I'll just hand over that secret manual to Madam or second brother instead." Hearing this, Fourth Young Master seemed to waver. The fist about to strike him quickly halted. Zhang grabbed his wrist. "Do you think, if either of you, Mu Yinghao or Mu Enping, take over as master, what will you do?" So, what's the first thing they'll do? Of course, the first thing they'll do is remove the thorn in their side. You're the one who really made him embarrassed, but he still shouted wildly. "Are you threatening me?" Zhang said coldly. "This is related to your life, so don't be subjective. You need to rethink that matter. Don't just threaten me like this, understand?" Looking at the imposing aura of the Fourth Young Master at this moment, there was little fear in the Fourth Young Master's eyes as he stared intently at the brother who was standing in front of him. The hand that was holding Zhang quickly released, and the Fourth Young Master stammered, asking, "Who are you?" He completely released his hand from him, but remained vigilant. "Are you really Mu Jingyun?" Speaking of this, the Fourth Young Master's face clearly showed suspicion and defensiveness. Hearing this, Cao Toan, standing close by, couldn't help but tremble with fear. Zhang maintained that calm expression, looking directly at the Fourth Young Master, without blinking, but with a very sincere attitude. He didn't answer that question, but directly asked back, "Is there a problem with you?" The Fourth Young Master stared blankly at him, as if looking at a strange person, lost in thought. He didn't understand what he said for a moment, and asked again, "What makes you so sure? You speak as if you know me so well." Fourth Young Master retorted, "So, you think I know nothing about you? 2 years ago, I used to beat you like a dog. Since then, you wouldn't even dare to walk in front of me, would you? You'd run far away as soon as you saw me from a distance, am I right? Zheng Jin moved closer, actively narrowing the gap. That's not what I meant at all. He paused. I'm not talking about the brawl between you and me, the brawl between us two brothers 2 years ago. You think I'm afraid of you because of that. What you know about me is utterly insufficient. Zheng Jin moved even closer, causing fourth young master to retreat involuntarily in fear. He continued, what I hate, what I like, you can't even guess, can you? What I'm thinking right now, you probably don't know either. The position of the next generation's family head. Do you think I need that position? Take a guess. Why don't you? Looking into Zheng Yin's genuine eyes, fourth young master shouted, Fine, you've said so much. Then what do you know about me, huh? Saying this, he became agitated. You all say that I am an illegitimate child, and use that as an excuse to alienate me, is that right? Since you have said so, then I will ask you this. Why don't you acknowledge anything I do? Why is it always me? Are you just relying on my background to deny everything I have done? No matter what I do, you will never acknowledge my position. He remained silent, listened, and then calmly spoke. Simply put, it's possible that you have more strength and effort. When the two heard this, the fourth young master stood blankly, staring at him without blinking. His mouth unconsciously asked again, What? It seemed that all the pent-up resentment that had been hidden for so long was released, and he bit his lip tightly. Fourth young master recalled that since childhood, I had grown up with the hatred and insults of everyone because I am an illegitimate child. Therefore, I am always alone and do everything without involving anyone. I can only rely on cultivation, hoping that one day I will be recognized. This is the only thing I can do. But now, there is someone who acknowledges my efforts. Moreover, it is someone whom I used to bully and torment. This is truly something that I never expected. I keep thinking about the past when I tormented him, so he would never think of me as anything. Could it be that it's time for me to reassess everything and change, or what? Thinking about this, Sigongzi suddenly felt some goodwill towards that guy and spoke up, All right. Pausing for a moment, he seriously looked straight at Zheng. Speak your mind, I'll listen. It seems this method of persuasion is proving effective. He smiled in satisfaction. All right. My request is, immediately after that, the two of them chatted together for a long time. After discussing everything, it seems the negotiation went very smoothly. Zheng happily walked along, whistling. Cao Xuan couldn't help but praise in his heart. Indeed, he's too clever. I must admit he is a calculating person. Before, I wondered how he cultivated his martial arts and how his brain processed everything. But now, I understand a bit of it. He deals with all difficult matters quickly and smoothly, without any snags. What Mu Jingyun knows is too much. Within the family, he understands all the basic martial arts. Everything before was just his scheme, so he didn't reveal it. Cao Xuan recalled the time when he negotiated with Yu Tianzheng, who said, I have 3 requests, and he requested 3 things from Yu Tianzheng. At that time, Zheng was very frank. After you become the master, don't touch the things I do. Secondly, you have to agree to everything I need. Can you provide everything for me? Yu Tian said those 2 things aren't difficult. If you don't do anything too excessive involving me, I will completely turn a blind eye to it. So what about the 3rd thing? The guy chuckled. Finally, Cao Tuan recounted what he really wanted, which was the basic martial arts of Ranmu sword manner. That's what he wanted. At that moment, he said, Lastly, it's the basic martial arts of Ranmu sword manner. Cao Tuan thought. I thought when he made such a blunt request, he would be suspected and rejected. However, Mu Yutian was completely unprepared. At that time, Yutian smiled cryptically, looking at him. Basic martial arts, huh? Cao Tuan, you sly dog. In order to make Mu Yutian careless, he requested those simple things first. Therefore, Yutian doesn't suspect anything now. Now everything is successful. Mu Jingyun has achieved everything he needs. From then on, Mu Jingyun became the person that Mu Yutian trusted above all others. Therefore, everything that Mu Jingyun asked Mu Yutian to pass on the fundamental martial arts to me has become reality. Everything Yutian did made everyone astonished by his fundamental martial arts. He only needed 2 hours to comprehend it all. As for that Jingyun, he only needed to hear it once to memorize it and have his own insights. Gao Zhuan assessed that he really does have a smart brain, responding to everything so thoroughly and reasonably. Thinking of this, he secretly praised himself. Indeed, following him, my future will be bright. Returning to the present, Gao Zuan flattered. Young Master has worked so hard. This subordinate truly admires what Young Master has done. Although it's good that you and Yu Tian are exchanging your knowledge of martial arts, this subordinate thinks. If you do that, you might encounter disadvantages later, the Young Master said calmly. It's all right. Everything I told that guy is just nonsense. Nothing important at all. Gao Zuan didn't expect that things that seemed so profound to him were so light to the Young Master. He unconsciously replied. The Young Master continued. Only I know those things. The Young Master continued. But since I've said it, I'll tell you as well. Gao Zuan stood blankly, listening silently, his expression unchanging. That's the whole story. The secret mantras I've realized and learned when I only gave him 10+ characters, then removed one, making him confused, unable to distinguish truth from falsehood. When speaking to a martial arts genius, I feared he'd notice something strange. However, I finally passed the test successfully. I meticulously calculated everything. How could I let him know everything? It can't be that simple. The conclusion is all about fear. If that's the case, then he might later suffer from chi deviation, even unleashing demonic skills and dying, who knows? At this moment, he was a bit frightened, cursing inwardly. This scoundrel is truly cunning. Zhang laughed slyly. That has nothing to do with me. Gao Zuan felt a chill down his spine, saying to himself, he truly is a demon. However, he didn't dare to say anything, only agreeing obsequiously. This truly has nothing to do with you, Young Master. Scene changed to a gloomy mountain. Here stands an enormous pagoda. Inside, a creepy, dim atmosphere pervades everything. A hooded figure speaks, Jiyu Fangxi. As Jiyu finishes speaking, another figure emerges, leaning on a staff. The iron staff strikes the ground with a soft thud. The figure reports, there's no information on Zisuo at all. This man is the master of the Ghost Shadow sect. He says, I don't understand. Why didn't that little wench offer sacrifices to the cat god? But instead, she's exposing the misdeeds that Madame Shi did. Because of this, we in the Shi family manor have completely severed ties. As such, the reputation of our sect has been greatly affected. With that, he angrily yells, My disciple, you must immediately hunt down that missing Zisuo, the geomancer. Find the truth and reclaim the lost honor for us. From the shadows, a creepy voice quickly responds, Disciple understands. At a precarious cliff, fog envelops the scene. Looking down at the depth of this cliff would probably make anyone tremble. Stuck on a branch is a familiar conical hat, covered in blood. Some items were scattered all over the ground, blood staining a region red, dried for who knows how long. One of the members of the Demon Pavilion quickly found the place where Sorcerer Society had died. He stood silently for a moment, looking at the scene. He took a talisman out of his hand. An ancient phrase was written on the top, and immediately after that, he burned it. The member of the Demon Pavilion thought to himself, so the person ranked third in the Demon Shadow Pavilion, you're saying he was defeated so miserably? He paused and thought for a moment. Clearly, there must be something hidden. As soon as he finished speaking, he quickly made a hand seal and shouted, Dog, talisman power! The designated killer registration law of the Northern Emperor has granted me power. Quickly reveal everything that happened. Hurry, hurry, as the law commands! The hat covered in Sorcerer Sock's blood, as if wanting to say something. Immediately after the man cast his spell, very quickly, everything was replayed in his eyes in an extremely truthful manner. First, Sorcerer Society was hired, and then she began to perform the ritual and was defeated. How the terrifying face of Qin appeared clearly, and the final, fearful eyes of Sorcerer Society. That man darkly commanded, Now, retreat, but before long I definitely will. Before he could finish, a chilling sensation washed over him. He felt a cold hand slowly reaching for him. That hand was like a ghost, slowly moving, making people shudder. He suddenly had a bad feeling. His eyes became vacant, as if someone had influenced them. Having just returned from those terrifying memories, he couldn't help but feel scared. Guige couldn't help but break out in a sweat. His breath became ragged, he muttered to himself. Just now, that was a pause, and he looked up at the sky, confirming this was indeed Qingling level. Looks like I need to prepare thoroughly. Sure enough, he stood at that dry blood puddle, silently calculating, preparing to face Qing Ling. Cut to Xing's private courtyard. The sky was now bright. Qing Ling stood before him. She stared blankly at Zhang, momentarily stunned. He, meanwhile, was diligently learning the moves, memorizing them from that secret manual. He remembered every detail of each move, no matter how small, then diligently practiced them day by day. It's not just that he's naturally gifted. This guy learns everything ridiculously fast. Even though he's never practiced, nor had a teacher, every move he throws is unbelievably polished. Qing Ling observes his every action, thinking to herself, just what kind of person 20's this guy? Normally, when you start learning martial arts, you begin by mastering the basic stances. Each stance is a single component. Many combined create a complete move. That's why you have to repeat the same pose over and over, practicing until it's perfect. However, that guy, except for the initial posture, doesn't make even the tiniest error. Now, the only thing left for him is the process of repeated training to strengthen his muscles. In other words, he doesn't need to practice at all. She's genuinely impressed. It's no exaggeration to call him extraordinary. Honestly, I thought he'd beg me to teach him more. Of course, I don't have any intention of teaching him, but still, if he begged, maybe I'd teach him a little something. Thinking of that, she suddenly blushed, realizing her expression was unusual. Qingling Sheng, overcome with anger, shouted, "What the heck am I thinking?" At that moment, Cao Xuan walked in. "Young master, I'm here," he announced. "Oh, you've arrived." As soon as he entered, Zhang spoke directly to the point. "I have a favor to ask of you." Changing scenes to bustling streets, everyone is living as usual. In Zhongyang County, this place is extremely lively, with people happily walking around inside Yonglan Pavilion. Cao Xuan sat, lost in thought. What exactly is this? In his hand, he held a small piece of paper, on which was written a single word. Calling that a moment ago, he had asked him what this was all about. Zhang said, "I want to investigate something." Zhang instructed, "Just send information requests to that place, as I told you." Returning to the present, he remembered what Zhang had instructed, because this is the only place providing information in this area. Moreover, it's the bottom of the barrel, so don't expect too much. Cao Xuan blankly asked, "Wait, why am I even worrying about this? Now, I'm no better than a gopher. How the heck did things end up like this?" He tilts his head back, pondering. Though I say that, truth be told, I don't really care all that much. It's not like I have some grand life goal anyway. Abandoned by my parents, raised by my master. Yet, I have no talent, forced to wander the Jianghu. At best, I just work alongside senior brother Tonggan. Then the two of us work together and rely on each other. It's not as if he is some great, upstanding guy. He treats me like a tool. That young master from before was the same. But I don't mind. I'm useless. So I deserve to be treated this way. Just a useless bum, scraping by, tossed aside when I'm no longer valuable. Thinking about it, maybe things are best this way. Now, even the trivial tasks are handled by the outer court martial artists. At least I feel like I'm working and alive. I just wonder what kind of trouble that guy will cause next. Every day, I have to live in fear because of his crazy schemes. And then I was even threatened with poison by him. Counting them all, there are too many threats against me. Thinking about it, he clicked his tongue. Oh well, just do a good job with what's in front of me. Just as he finished thinking, Gao Xuan's room door was immediately opened. A big, fat, and uncouth guy laughed boisterously. He quickly spoke up. "Sorry to keep you waiting, sir. The person who just arrived is none other than the owner of Yonglan Tower, and the information provider, Tower Master Guo." Gao Xuan was dissatisfied. "I heard you came from the Hao sect." How disappointing, indulging in purple pleasures in broad daylight. However, he reluctantly spoke up. All right, hurry up and accept my request." Suddenly, he shouted loudly, startling Gao Xuan a little. "What?" he asked again. "What the heck are you doing?" Tower Master Guo said awkwardly. This is a new maid here." He slyly glanced at the girl sitting next to him. "What do you think? Isn't she beautiful?" Gao Xuan said seriously. "This is a request from a very important person. Let her go outside." Tower Master Guo smiled brightly. She's one of us, so don't worry." Gao Xuan's face darkened, and his voice became gloomy. "Let her get out of here right now for me." Guo Luzhu is also a person who knows what's important. He quickly let go and stepped back down, but his eyes still couldn't leave the beauty. Before the girl left, She didn't forget to tell Zhu to serve me well. Don't forget that I've taught you how to please men. Gao Zuan couldn't bear it any longer. He slammed his hand on the table in frustration. Finish the work, then do whatever you want. Suddenly, at the same time, the girl fiercely slapped Guo Luzhu in the face. This incident happened so suddenly, it made both Gao Zuan and him stunned for a moment. The girl angrily brushed her hair up with a dark face. I can't continue anymore. Guo Luzhu, you itch, this cheap bitch, because he was retaliated against by a woman. He was momentarily ashamed and angry, and after shouting loudly, he rushed towards her. The girl was not willing to lose either. She directly somersaulted her body. Her two hands fiercely gripped Guo Luzhu's hair tightly. His head was quickly twisted slightly. This girl's movements are extremely skillful. Looks like nothing much happened, but that's just what it seems like, Guo Luzhu. He didn't even get a chance to scream. After she let go and gracefully landed, Guo Luzhu was already collapsing to the ground. Seeing this scene, Cao Tuan stood up nervously. He hurriedly reached for his sword. What is he stammering about? That girl didn't say a word, directly kicking the large table straight into Cao Tuan's face. For just being a woman, her strength is shockingly excessive. For a moment he was stunned, not having reacted to this situation yet. The girl smiled slyly, then spoke up. Long time no see. Low-level assassin. The chopsticks in her hand were skillfully launched, directly into the acupuncture points on Cao Tuan's body. He stared blankly at her, thinking. This move, Cao Tuan's hand, which was about to draw his sword, suddenly stopped. The girl smiled happily. Oh well, it'd be too disappointing if you didn't recognize me. Number 86. She paused for a moment, smiling as she corrected herself. No. Big brother Cao Tuan. This girl is none other than Xia Tailin. Also, she's the daughter of the Central Plains, 4 great assassins. Sect leader of the Flying Kill sect, Flying Kill Yanke. Gao Tuan was so stunned he stammered, Little sister? She's my only little sister. Gao Tuan recounted, completing 100 killings, 100 men, 100 kills. To become the sect leader of the Flying Kill sect, you must undergo this ritual. And once you've passed it, you'll be revered as one of the Central Plains' 4 great assassins, the sect leader of the Flying Kill sect. And when you become the sect leader of the Flying Kill sect, you'll receive the secret signature weapon reserved solely for the sect leader. It's this silver needle of secrets. A voice rang out, cutting through Gao Tuan's thoughts. Don't move! I'll use my power to unlock your acupoints for you. He looked at the silver needle, contemplating. Your possession of the silver needle of secrets. Does this mean you've already become the sect leader? Impossible. Xia Tailin. She's the only daughter of the Flying Kill sect leader. She's got some talent, I'll grant her that. However, she has one fatal flaw. Zhao Tuan looked at this little sister of his, then continued thinking. It was her damn dog-like personality. Because of that personality, many people believed she could never complete the 100 people, 100 kills. I vaguely recall now. She was a rude and stubborn brat. Who knew she'd think? Suddenly, his eyes landed right on her ample bosom. At the same time, Tailin spoke up, pulling Gao Tuan back. I've finished removing it now, see? I never thought I'd run into you here. He moved his arms and legs, checking his limbs. Gao Tuan spoke up. Right. It's been a while, little. Before he finished, she interrupted. Sect leader! He was stunned. Huh? Tailin smugly said. Now you have to call me sect leader, Gao Tuan thought. So sure enough, she has changed. Or maybe it's because she retired? She really looks like a sect leader now. As soon as he finished thinking, he knelt down, flattering her. Of course. Sect leader Tailin was helpless. Damn it! Did you absolutely have to kneel again like that? Cao Quan is definitely on it. Looks like she's really changed, Tailin chuckled. Well, that's a good thing. Cao Quan, momentarily confused, stammered. Huh? She said, I received intel. Mu de Gongzi, the notoriously lecherous young master of the Ranmu Sword Manor, is here. So I just need to stick with you, Cao Quan Dahe, and that's it. Well, that makes things easier. What's the deal? Tailin glanced over. I already got the info. Intermediate assassin. Number 29. Gan Shixang. I heard Gan Shixang has failed 7 assassination missions. Hearing this, Cao Quan bit his lip, not knowing what to think, and said nothing. She continued. This is the iron rule of the Fei Sha sect, even for intermediate assassins. However, his results are usually excellent. I can't believe he failed 7 times. Rumor has it he's missing. He's probably dead. At any cost. You're asking me what I'm doing here, right? She paused for a moment, then continued. Take the life of Ranmu Swordmanner's 3rd young master, Mu Jingyun, completed the assassination mission. Hearing that, Cao Zhuan instantly panicked. Whoosh! Time flies, and it's already afternoon. The sun is gradually setting. At this moment, Jing is still absorbed in practicing alone, while Qingling is still standing there, observing every move. Every move you make, kid. Her patience wearing thin, she shouted, annoyed. Hey, how long are you planning to stand there? Just then, he remembered something, looked up at the sky, and replied, I get it. Qingling happily looked at him. All right, let's dig in then. Speaking of which, her face suddenly went a little flushed. A happy smile unconsciously bloomed on her lips. Meanwhile, back in his study, a girl was chomping down on some grub. He still hadn't touched his chopsticks, continuing to pore over his military texts. The incessant smacking sounds echoed throughout the room. The girl was still diligently focused on her meal. She happily couldn't help but exclaim a compliment. This is seriously delicious. He turned to look at her, surprised. That good, huh? A girl slowly opens the bottle of wine because one of life's greatest pleasures is eating and drinking. One day, you'll understand the saying, even rolling into a dung heap is lucky. Turns out, it's none other than Qingling. She thinks to herself with satisfaction. These past few days, I've been trying to enter the body of the maid who brings the meals. Looks like I'm very pleased. If only I'd done this from the start, huh? Suddenly, the maid's hand trembles, and purplish veins gradually become prominent on her hand. Qingling looks at the body in annoyance. This kid can't even last a moment. She muses. Not long ago, she insisted on possessing a beautiful woman. As a result, she was nearly killed. Qingling quickly removes her soul from the maid's body. He wonders if a high-level soul simply can't exist within a normal body. She glances at him and says, Hey, why are you asking about that? Qingling states, You're too focused on magic. He quickly understands and looks at the book in his hand. The 6th Order Soul Descent Technique. Naturally, there's nothing interesting among the books. Among the magic books that Fanlin brought, there was one book by the female Taoist Kia. In it, there is a magic called the 6-person soul descent technique. It's very interesting. Speaking of this, his face suddenly became mysterious. For example, Kia's soul is dead. I don't understand why his figure suddenly became a little lonely and sad. I don't understand why, at that moment, he and Fanlin both had an unusual feeling at the same time. She looked at him blankly for a moment and then hesitantly praised. You are very sensitive indeed. Qin said nothing. His face showed a tense expression, staring intently at the door. His entire room was quickly surrounded by a thick stream of demonic energy. Turning back to Cao Tone, he hesitantly held it up in front of Tai Lam. These are the clothes of the female disciples. She looked at the clothes in her senior brother's hand with disgust, frankly criticizing how gaudy. His inner self kept screaming. Cao Tone bit his lip, sweat pouring down. Danger, danger. It's really very dangerous. The fact that she became the sect master means that at least she has reached the pinnacle realm. She still isn't paying attention over here. Aren't there any outfits prettier than this? Cao Xuan thought to himself. If I want to live, I have to do it. Especially if she finds out I betrayed senior brother Gan. She'll kill me. He schemed. He has to find a way to tell that devil about this. Thinking this, Cao Xuan hesitated, scratching his head. That, while the sect master is changing, I'll take my leave first. Tai Lin was completely unguarded, instead teasing him. What's wrong? Don't you want to watch? She continued to writhe her body enticingly. Opportunities like this don't come often, you know. Hearing this, Cao Xuan's face suddenly flushed red. He unconsciously stopped. Tai Lin saw him suddenly turn serious and laughed loudly. I'm just kidding, just kidding. Still, I am very grateful to you. Thanks to you, I was able to get in here so easily. Cao Xuan smiled foolishly. It's nothing. I'm also looking for an opportunity to avenge senior brother Gan, Cao Xuan thought. Even though he said he was subdued by that devil, he still always harbored thoughts of revenge. The sect leader arriving here is like 1,000 troops of reinforcements, and Tai Lin is beaming. Sure enough, even though she's retired, She's still Fai Shasek's ace assassin. Her eyes suddenly turned gloomy as she stared at Cao Xuan. I actually trusted you. He gave a forced laugh, then quickly turned to leave, not daring to. Excuse me, a chilling voice echoed. You think I'll let you go? My martial brother died. Yet you can live so carefree? Didn't you surrender to him already? Good-for-nothing piece of trash who was forced into retirement. And you still have the gall to say you're enduring humiliation for revenge? Cao Xuan frantically thought, she knows everything. I should have suspected you from the start. Tai Lin sneered. Living to this age, yet you haven't changed a bit. Still as stupid, cowardly, and dull as ever. She smirked. Don't you know what it means to learn? Therefore, a useless piece of garbage like you is better off dead. Saying this, a fierce look appeared on her face. Cao Xuan clenched his fists, thinking, where did all this start? Ever since that devil killed a Jing Yun, or since I betrayed senior brother Gan. Speaking of which, Gao Tuan's face revealed unwillingness. No, actually I knew. It's because I'm weak, precisely because I am so spineless, that things have become like this. Tai Lam took out a knife to kill Mok Chang-tu to avenge senior brother Cam, then commit suicide to say goodbye forever. Kednoi closed his eyes unwillingly. Am I finally going to die like this? A hand violently burst open the door. The move to break the fourth eight form was unleashed, and that attractive force quickly snatched the knife from Tai Lin's hand. In just a moment, Tai Lin had completely lost the weapon in his grasp. A fierce kick sent the door flying, causing it to explode. Both Tai Lin and Gao Tuan were dumbfounded by this magnificent spectacle. Dust flew everywhere as Zheng, knife in hand, grinned. Gao Tuan, guarding his boss, sweated as he looked at him. This was the first time that devil looked so cool. Zheng is so calm, as if this is a trivial matter. Cao Tuan. Are you in big trouble, huh? But immediately after, a ruthless hand grabbed Cao Tuan's collar, pulling him backward. Tai Lin fiercely pressed a knife to Cao Tuan's neck, yelling, Stay put, Mugongzi! If you don't want to witness your guard's miserable death. Zheng, for the moment, held back, staring intently at
Isekai?